find that big hit to bring them home, no matter how hard they hit the ball. The positive from last night, they had runners on. They got them in scoring position. Tonight, they look for those big hits. Game 2 next. It's the Orioles on Masson, and the homestand continues with these 2-for-1 affairs. The Rays and the Orioles meeting up with the Eastern Division title on the line, with the Red Sox still in first place, then the Rays, and then the O's. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. For the Orioles, it was indeed a frustrating night last night. One of those you do look back on and say, if. Trouble is, there are no ifs. It's over, so you move on, as Mike Showalter says, to tonight. And all you got to do is hit the ball a couple of inches one way or the other, which they didn't do last night, and they score a lot of runs. Matt Wieters is doing that against Tampa Bay, not only this year, but for his career. He would like to play Tampa Bay probably every night. The Oriole catcher last night, another 3 hits, double in the 3rd inning. That one changed the game if it had been a home run. Came up, drove one to right field in the 5th inning for a base hit. And then in the 7th inning, he made it a 1-run ball game. He got the home run. That would make it 4-3. Those kinds of nights are what Matt Wieters has had throughout his career against Tampa, hitting .337 lifetime with 14 homers. That's the 4th most among active. The RBI's up to 48 and a 3-for-5 last night. Mike Bordick, he loves Tampa Bay.
He sure does, and it probably started when he was a young player. I mean, probably had a great first game against Tampa Bay, and that confidence just keeps coming back. Every time he steps in the box against a Tampa Rays pitcher, he feels good about himself, and he hasn't stopped for the 68 games. Great numbers, good news for the Orioles, too. It's against an Eastern Division opponent. He also hits very well against the Yankees, 12 home runs against them.
Matt Wieters will try and keep that going tonight. The Orioles will try and set up a rubber match for tomorrow when we come back on this summer night. Game 2 of the set. Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. A very summer-like day today. A cool evening last night. Right back to summer today. Our train game time temperature will be 86 degrees. Little breeze blowing out towards left or center. Humidity up a bit. Partly cloudy skies. Train celebrating its 100th anniversary by offering irresistible financing. It is hard to stop a train. Really hard. Here's the starting lineup for the Rays. Jennings, Zobrist, Longoria, Joyce, Myers, and Loney, Escobar, Molina, and Johnson. Matt Joyce this season putting up real good numbers against the Orioles.
And here's the scouting report tonight for Miguel Gonzalez. Yeah, as the Orioles try to force a rubber game in this 3-game series, they've got the right combination on the mound. Miguel's 9 home starts this year. The Orioles are 8-1, and in his 6 career starts against the Rays, the Orioles are 5-1 and have won 5 straight. The key is, though, commanding the fastball. He has the great ability to work that fastball in and out, and it'll help set up his slider and his devastating split-finger fastball. Stretch it out, though. Miguel has pitched 6 innings or more in 19 of his 21 starts this year. Buck Showalter would certainly love for him to go deep into this game and keep that bullpen fresh. There's the numbers on the season for Miguel. Opponents hitting .251, lefties at .256, and the righties down to .246.
In the starts made this season by Gonzalez, 21 of them, the Orioles have gone 13-8 in those ball games. He's trying to break a 4-game streak in which he has not had a win. Last 2 starts, no decision, Arizona, San Diego. Prior to that, losses to Houston and Kansas City. Last win came against Texas on July 20 in a 1-run, 8-hit, 6 2/3 innings performance. Here is Desmond Jennings, and we are ready to go as the Orioles and the Rays go at it yet again, 14th time. Rays have the advantage, 8-5 on the season series. And Gonzalez with Jennings at the top of the order. And showed bunt. He will take the pitch. It is in there for a strike. Jennings getting back into action, coming off the DL yesterday. And the ball game ended up with a 1-for-4 reinstated fractured left middle finger. Had put him on the DL and kept him out. The 0-1 delivery to him, and a little check swing caught him in the face. That bounced up and hit him underneath the visor, and Joe Maddon's on his way out.
Wow, good breaking ball from Miguel Gonzalez, and he tried to hold up his swing. Bounced off the tip of the home plate and came back up and caught him. It looked like in the forehead. Here's a look. Oh, right in that right eye. Very dangerous. And once again, the breaking ball trying to hold up. That ball just ricochets up and catches him right in the eye.
There are things that happen in sports, and seems to be baseball in particular. You couldn't do that if you stood down there for 5 days and tried to bounce a ball and get it to come back up and hit you in the head like that.
That's
you
right.
Wouldn't be able to do it. But you can swing a bat, hit the ball, catch the corner of the plate, and get it to bounce right straight up and hit you right above the eye.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
Well, fortunately for him, it doesn't look like there's any bleeding. He just got in that eyeball, and now he's trying to work the mist out of there so he can get his vision back.
Nice wedding ring, huh? Oh, sorry.
And the trainer looking in there to make sure there's, no blood or anything in the eyeball.
I'm sure you're right, Mike. It's a vision problem right now. See Rob Drake, home plate umpire, with Madden. And the trainer out to have the look here. And while they're doing that, Gonzalez is going to take some warm-up tosses just to stay loose, since he's only thrown 2 pitches here to start the ball game.
Well, he certainly has to get in the back in the box when he can see right, because it gets really dangerous if you don't have both eyes working. Definitely going to take the time.
Joe West, crew chief, on his way in, talking to Gonzalez about warming up here. And I think telling him if he wants to do more, he can. While Drake, the home plate umpire, is taking care of the other. There's Joe West, the crew chief, at first base tonight, just talking to Gonzalez, saying, go ahead and throw if you want it. He didn't want it. So Jennings will stand back in. Have a little chat with Matt Wieters as he does so. Our home plate umpire tonight is Rob Drake, 5-year veteran, joined the majors in 2010. He is an Arizona resident. Inaugural World Baseball Classic. He was an umpire in that back in 2006. Joe West, Sam Holbrook, Andy Fletcher make up the crew. 0-2 delivery to Jennings, and that will miss outside. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count. And we'll just hope Jennings is going to be okay as the night rolls along. Come off the DL, play 1 game, then do that in the second game. Why me? Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and Jennings swings at it and misses. He'll go down swinging one away.
Tough at bat right there by Jennings, but a good pitch by Miguel Gonzalez. A fastball up and away. Finds his spot for the swing and miss. Have a look at the fastball. Good pitch.
Gonzalez with a 96 strikeouts on the year. 39 walks. A pretty good ratio on strikeout to walks. He's a contact, though. Pitch to contact, get the outs. Largely fly balls. 60% of the outs recorded on fly balls this year for Miguel. Here is Ben Zobrist. There's one of those fly balls. Left center field, left fielder McLouth. He's got it. 2 down.
Let's take a look at the Orioles defense tonight behind Miguel Gonzalez. Of course, the best defense in all of baseball with McLouth, Jones, and Markakis in the outfield. J.J. Hardy back at shortstop with Ryan Flaherty getting the start at second base. Machado and Davis at the corners. And Matt Wieters, the Gold Glove catcher, behind the plate.
And that will bring up Evan Longoria. Longoria with the home run in the ballgame last night, going 2 for 4, run and an RBI. He's got a 3-game hit streak going. The Orioles put that shift on against him in the infield. He will take the pitch for a strike. We have seen this overload on right-handers in this series more than we've seen the Orioles do it against any other team. It looks like the shift you put on against lefties the other way around. 0-1 delivery, slider, be outside on him. Longoria's picked the pace up. He's had 11 extra base hits in the last 12 games. And he had gone through a stretch where he had only 7 extra base hits in 33 games. So the home runs and the doubles have come his way of late. Ground ball towards third base. Manny Machado, running stop. He's got him, and Gonzalez is off to a clean start. Sets the side down in order. Jennings still working on that eye. They are 4 behind both Oakland and Tampa Bay for the wild card. Here's the starting lineup for the Orioles, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. McLouth, Machado, and Davis. Jones, Markakis, and Wieters. Hardy, Flaherty, and Roberts. Adam Jones having a sensational month of August.
And here's the scouting report tonight for Alex Cobb. Certainly good to be back for him and the Tampa Bay Rays. 25-year-old right-hander is making just his second start after spending 2 months on the disabled list after he was hit in the head with a line drive and suffered a concussion. But he relies on his off-speed pitches, his split finger and his curveball. He throws it over 50% of the time. So the Orioles bats are going to have to be patient there, and he does have a deceptive delivery. He's got a high leg kick, gets away from his body, and his upper torso leans back towards the first base side, helps throw the timing off of the hitters. Here's a look at the numbers on the season. This is 15th start, 2.94 earned run average with 82 strikeouts in 77 hits. Opponents hitting 230 off him, lefties at 225, and the righties not much better at 238.
And as Mike Showalter said in his news conference before the game, our biggest challenge as a pitcher we face in this series is on the mound tonight. That's how strongly he feels about Cobb. And the pitch will be taken for a strike. McLouth leading it off. Nate back in the leadoff spot after Brian Roberts was there last night for just the second time this year against Price. The Orioles did what they wanted to do against David Price. They were patient. They made him throw a lot of pitches. They got hits. Hit the ball hard at times, but just couldn't find the one that would fall in and get them those couple of runs they needed to win.
Yeah, they had a great game plan against David Price. Worked the at bat, got his pitch count up, came up with some big hits, but David Price came up with some bigger pitches when he needed to, and that's why he is who he is. Last year's Cy Young Award winner.
He pitched to dandy out of problems all night long. Cobb with the 1-ball 1-strike count on McLouth, and Nate will foul it back. Nate trying to get out of an 0 for 12 that he is in right now. It's been a struggle for the Oriole left fielder here in the month of August. McLouth hitting only a .196. He's gone 11 for 56 in August. Does have a couple of home runs this month, and the shift is on against him in the infield. 1-2 delivery and a swing and a foul ball. 1-2.
That's a look at his split finger right there at the bottom of the zone. But take a look at his delivery. High leg kick with the left leg. He leans back, and there is a moment where he has a pause up there, and then it's tough to get the timing if you're a hitter waiting on that delivery to come through and the ball to be delivered, because he has so many off-speed pitches. That's really how you break a hitter's timing.
Gets the ground ball off the plate right back to him and make the underhand flip over to Loney at first base, and McLouth is retired.
And here's a look at the second best defense in all of baseball behind Alex Cobb tonight. Joyce, Jennings, and Myers in the outfield. Escobar and Zobrist up the middle. Longoria and Loney on the corners, with the veteran catcher Molina behind the plate.
So with one out, here's Manny Machado. Oriole third baseman's got a 5-game hit streak coming into the ball game. He is 1 for 4 in the ball game last night. Manny at 296, and you see during the streak he's gone 9 for 24. Defense plays it even up, and the delivery to him, take it for a strike. If Cobb is on, the ground balls like you saw with McLouth will be pronounced. 74% of his outs come on ground balls. Ground ball to short. Escobar is there to get it and records the out. And there are 2 down. Here's Chris Davis. Take a look. This is the cover page of the Sports Illustrated Regional that'll be coming out on newsstands tomorrow. A big story, unlocking the power and mystery of Chris Davis. Thanks for Sports Illustrated for making that available to us, and you'll want to read the story. Tom Verducci, who's an outstanding writer, was in Arizona to interview Chris and put the story together about how Chris has gotten his game turned around, what he did in correcting things that were wrong, he felt, with his stride, and going down and playing some winter ball that helped get it done. It's a real nice story about Chris Davis. And again, as he has to do over and over, he answers the question, have you used? No, I have not. Continues each time to have to say that. Doesn't mind doing it because he wants to make the point. And I thought a real good story.
Oh, it was a great article, and it covered everything. It talked about the science of hitting, the great hitters, obviously the past, Ted Williams, Charlie Lau. It went into those discussions. I think it's a great read, and so many hitters, obviously, even younger players can learn a lot in reading about that and why Chris Davis has so much power and the ability to stay consistent.
And it also makes clear why hitters can change and can make major corrections that make them a different ball player. I mean, Chris went through that in the article on what he did and the change that resulted. That pitch is going to be in the inside corner, and it'll be a 2-ball 2-strike count. He shook his head a little bit. Rob Drake, the home plate umpire, is, according to most players, a bit on the pitcher's side. That strike zone is going to have a little bit of width and height to it. Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way, and Davis, that's what happens when the pitcher gets you to go after the one he wants you to swing at. Davis retired, so East pitcher starts with a clean first inning. 10,000 fans 15 and over will receive an Orioles license plate frame. Show your Birdland pride and support the O's as they take on the Rays, looking for a postseason spot. 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com. Get your tickets in advance and save. Interesting, Robinson Cano in that Sports Illustrated story of Chris Davis was one of the people cited as having helped him in getting his swing turned around. He played winter ball in Estrellas, which San Pedro de Macorís, which is the hometown of the Yankees second baseman, and actually got some help there and felt he was in a relaxed situation where he could try some things out without a lot of people over his shoulder all the time. It's a great story, and the winter ball experience really helped him.
I think so many players learn so much more from their peers, really, than being forced on by coaches or somebody at the minor league level. And I'm not taking anything away from the development of coaches, because obviously they have great advice. But when you can talk to players that have been through it time and time again and have an understanding, especially a great hitter like Robinson Cano, you can learn so much. And those words were invaluable to Chris Davis, as he has really freed up his swing and become probably the best power hitter in the game, at least this year.
Matt Joyce will foul that one right straight back. Joyce leading it off. Couple of hits and 13 at bats. Lifetime off Miguel Gonzalez. Joyce had a big night last night. He went 2 for 3, a home run and 2 RBIs. Tampa Bay is one of those teams where everybody contributes on different nights. It's a different star. 1-1 delivery. It's always been that way seemingly under Joe Madden. They may have the big thumper. Longoria certainly is that in the lineup, and Myers, their rookie, may get there, but with the salary levels that they have to stay at, they've got to make players, homegrown players, work, and they do. 2-1 delivery on the way to Joyce, and that's fouled off. Speaking of Cano, Mike, Yankees won the first game of a doubleheader against Toronto today, 8-4. Cano went 4 for 4, a home run, 4 RBIs.
There you go.
Oh, mama. Nova got the win 7-4. 4 runs, 9 hits, 6 1/3. So the Yankees playing a doubleheader, second game underway tonight. Pitch will be taken inside, and the count will go 3-2 on Joyce.
You know, we talk about the importance, obviously, of all these games within the division, and here the Orioles playing the Rays in this series. The Rays are, of course, in front of them, and then they've got some wild card games coming up against Oakland and Cleveland. But don't look now, but the New York Yankees, they haven't gone away. They're playing pretty good baseball.
There is a leadoff walk, and Joyce is on. Take a look at our Major League Notebook on the East Winds page. Well, the Bart Bogart's up from Boston. He called up. He's supposed to play tonight in San Francisco, and the manager says he's going to play both short and third. He is a real prospect for Boston. The Yankees, they've got to finish 25-13 to reach 90 wins. Even that may not be enough this season. They have gone great guns, including a 7-0 record against Toronto at home. They won today 8-4. They're playing the second game tonight. The Jays trying to play the spoiler. They played the Yankees 6 times the next 9 days. They are 1-9 against the Yankees this season, and lost the first game of the doubleheader. Pitch taken by Myers. 1-0. Will Myers with a 1 for 4 in the ball game last night. The rookie right fielder getting his first chance against the Orioles here at Camden Yards in this series. They put the shift on, moving Flaherty, the second baseman, almost behind the bag. 1-0 delivery, chases one up high, foul tipped into the mitt.
Chasing a pitch up and away. You talk about his great bat speed, and of course that's why he's up here in the big leagues. I mean, he's been a prospect since he was signed with Kansas City, and Tampa Bay working their magic to keep young stars on their team. Certainly the next up and comer, as they slid him right into the 4th hole. Tonight hitting 5th. Last night he was in the 4 spot.
1 ball, 1 strikeout. Joyce on at first, and the pitch will be taken up high. Gonzalez will go 2-1 on Myers. Myers, the only Tampa Bay player not to have faced Gonzalez before. Miguel Gonzalez, career number 2-1 with the 3.97 ERA against the Rays. 2 ball, 1 strikeout. Not a big lead at first for Joyce. 2-1 delivery, and a great pitch. Dropped that one in on the inside corner. 2-2.
And Miguel Gonzalez's split finger right here. You could see the grip. Great release. And look at the late dip and the change of pace. 83 miles an hour underneath the bat of Will Myers.
That's the one he uses when he can get ahead of the count, and makes him a very effective pitcher. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Myers will take the pitch, and he's gone. Frozen. 2 strikeouts for Gonzalez.
And that's just a young hitter outthinking himself right there. Beautiful fastball right down the heart of the plate, the bottom of the strike zone. But Myers says, hey, he's got to be throwing me another one of those great split fingers. But no, good call by Matt Wieters.
That'll bring Loney to the plate. James Loney with a 4-game hit streak. He extended it last night with a 1-for-4. Loney coming in with the best road average in the American League, hitting at .361 on the road. Runner at first and 1 out. Gonzalez pumps the fastball, that'll miss outside for ball 1. Loney is in the top 10 in average. His .310 average is good enough for 6th in the American League. Really having a kind of a quiet season with outstanding offensive numbers, and plays a very solid first base.
Yeah, he sure does. He's played at Gold Glove caliber first base, and his bat the past couple of years kind of went quiet. He was hitting in the low 240s, 250, and just not the production that teams had hoped for. So he bounced around a little bit. He was with the Dodgers for the most of his career, but came over to the Red Sox, and then Tampa Bay picked him up, took a shot. Of course, Joe Maddon getting the most out of him. He's feeling comfortable, hitting well over 300, 10 home runs on the season, and hitting his doubles.
You wonder how much that it helps to have the expectation level. It's lowered over time because he didn't meet it.
Right.
So it drops down, the attention drops down, and maybe that makes him a better player. He may play better when he's not under that kind of watch. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and that'll be fouled off the other way. And Gonzalez will get ahead on the count of ball and 2 strikes on Loney. Tampa Bay team has won 5 of their last 6. They have a 2-game win streak coming into this one. They're 71-52. They are a game behind the Red Sox, tied with Oakland for the wild card spot. Joe Maddon's team improving against the Eastern Division opponents with their victory in the ball game last night to go 4 above 500, 31-27 against the East. 1-2 delivery, trying to get him to go after one away, and did not. Fastball, 2-2.
Got good velocity on his fastball here in the early going of this ball game, and with an extra mile or 2 on his fastball, it'll help get some swing and misses on his split finger.
2 ball, 2 strike count. Joyce at first, and a medium toss over. He's had 7 stolen bases, 7 out of 8. And it's not a running situation for him to be taking off, especially with a left-hander up. Loney gets the advantage of that hole between first and second if he doesn't move. 2-2. Flaherty playing over towards the bag, second baseman. Gonzalez, couple of looks, 2-2 delivery, and foul tip into the mitt, and his 3rd strikeout.
Another good fastball. I think the Tampa Bay offense right now expecting a split finger or an off-speed pitch with 2 strikes, and this one at the bottom of the zone, he gives chase. Matt Wieters a nice job hanging on the bottom of the zone. Good pitch again from Miguel Gonzalez.
So that's 3 strikeouts, 2 in the inning after the leadoff walk to Joyce. Here is Escobar, 1 for 3 last night. Escobar now with an 8-game hit streak. Runner at first and 2 away. And he will take the fastball inside. Escobar's 8-game hit streak is a new season high. He had a couple of 7-game streaks. Pretty good numbers for that 10 for 28 during the streak, and only 3 strikeouts. He's having an outstanding post All-Star part of this season. 1-0 delivery to him, and again staying inside on him. You can tell by the way the Orioles have gone after Escobar, they do not want him to be able to get those arms out. They've tried to stay in on him.
Oh, he's a big, strong kid with a lot of power potential. When he gets those arms extended, he can hit it a long way and do some damage. Here's a look before the break. .251 with the 7 home runs and 39 RBIs, but since the All-Star break, that average way up there at .310. Only 1 home run, 11 RBIs, but getting on base plenty.
He will foul that one the other way upstairs. And Gonzalez gets ahead on the count of ball and 2 strikes.
Playing a great defense as well. Another one of the players that, under the watchful eye of manager Joe Madden, is really starting to thrive playing for the Rays.
1-2. Joyce has not extended the lead, and the ball hits him and will deflect away. Throw down by Davis is not in time. Flaherty thought he might have had him. It'll be an error charged on Gonzalez, putting a runner in scoring position with 2 out.
Well, it ended up being a pretty close play at second base, but Miguel Gonzalez tries with a quick snap throw, but it ends up hitting Joyce off the side. Chris Davis gets it alertly. Ryan Flaherty wants that call as he comes out of the gate, but oh wow, that's a pretty close play right there. Really
real
close
bang
play.
bang. Get him look like on the back cleat.
Yeah.
So a runner now at second base. So Escobar with a 1-ball 2-strike count gets an RBI chance. Gonzalez trying to strike out the side. Ball's going to be blooped in the air. Center field. It's going to fall in for a base hit and a run batted in. Wow. Escobar, with nobody on first, took a big turn. So he delivers an RBI single, and the Rays get a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, really not a terrible pitch at all by Miguel Gonzalez, and Escobar just gets enough of it. Probably a broken bat as he flares it out over to the head of Ryan Flaherty. Gets in on him. See Flaherty giving chase. Of course, Joyce on second base after the error by Miguel Gonzalez, able to score easily, and that's how you take advantage of the extra opportunity.
51 RBIs for the shortstop. So the error on the throw matters. And here is Molina. Molina with a 1 for 4 in the ballgame last night, and one of the biggest plays in the game in the 9th inning when he threw out Casilla, trying to steal second base after the Orioles got the leadoff man on a hearty base hit in the 9th inning. And Molina, who's thrown out only 26%, somehow he made a great throw because he had a good jump, but it was just a perfect throw to get him.
Yeah, Casilla came in to pinch run for J.J. Hardy, and with the slow times to the plate, he was off and running, but Molina came up with probably his best throw. It was an elevated pitch. He was coming out of the chute and just put it right on the money.
And a 2-strike count on Molina. Molina's 3 for 8 with a home run lifetime off Gonzalez. Molina's had decent offensive numbers against the Orioles this year, hitting .259 with a homer, 2 RBIs. He's in there to catch. Anything offensively from him is a plus. 0-2 count, and Molina will take that same pitch away this time, and a ball and 2 strikes. Ironic, the error made here in the inning. I was just going to say, we're talking about the great defenses. The Orioles are 1, Tampa Bay's 2 in the American League in fielding percentage. Both of them are on course to set the major league record for fewest errors committed in a season. Both of them, both teams. 1-ball 2-strike delivery. Molina's going to go off Davis. Flaherty's going to play it and will get the out. Molina so. Flaherty made time to make sure he got righted. It'll be an unearned run. 1-0. from Columbia. Denise, you've already won $500 for being selected. 100 more for every Orioles hit during tonight's game, plus 500 for any Orioles home run in the 5th inning. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery Hit It Big contestant of the game, play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter. Oh, Donnie, CBD. Remember the song? No?
No, sure.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. No, you were born then. Randy and the Rainbows.
I probably wasn't born then, but I appreciate that type of music.
Good man. Alex Cobb, second start since the concussion injury. Went 5 innings in the outing against Seattle. A run on 3 hits over 5 in that ball game through 88 pitches. So how long he'll stay in the ball game remains to be seen. He said, I went through 3 stages in that first start. I didn't have any kind of rhythm on the mound. Then I had rhythm, but I was completely tired. Then I had no rhythm, and I was tired, and that's when I came out.
Yeah. I pitched a pretty good ball game, nonetheless.
Here is Adam Jones. Adams got a 4-game hit streak extended last night with a 1 for 5 at an even 300 now. Cobb gets it in, chopped to short. This is going to be a tough play. Escobar, long throw. No. Adam Jones has got an infield hit.
Pretty nice play right there by Escobar, doing all he could to try to get Adam Jones. See him get to the backhand and then the jump throw. Problem getting the handle, and that's what might have cost him on the end. Adam Jones hustling down the line, just gets in there. Step. Just by a step. Nice play. You see him make that jump. Look at the ball right at his fingertips as he's trying to make the adjustment. Finally gets his fingers on top of the ball. And a pretty strong throw. Nice athletic play by Escobar at short.
Funny watching Evan Longoria just as a fan there.
Yeah, enjoying it, right?
Nice play. So the Orioles get a leadoff single. Jones on at first base. Here's Nick Markakis, and Adam back to the bag at first. 22nd infield hit for Adam Jones this season. Top 10 in average, and boy, it doesn't hurt. And you can pick up that many infield hits. That does not hurt your average.
It sure doesn't. And, you know, we talk about Adam Jones, you know, really taking over as the team leader, both vocally and how he plays the game. He never takes time off. He's always hustling down the line, and that's why he has those 22 infield hits.
Well, Buck Showalter hoping the Orioles get one or more on the board and answer the run in the unearned run in the top of the inning. Jones a very short lead at first. I mean, no lead at all, and Cobb throws over. Cobb has had his problems with base stealers this year. They are 7 out of 9 when he's on the mound, and you do have Molina, who despite that fine play last night has thrown out only 27%. So again, as we saw in last night's ball game with Price, you've got a duo that can be run on, at least by the numbers. Markakis will pop that one back, and it'll be out of play. So Nick falls behind on the count.
Alex Cobb, he has a quick move to first base. Actually throws it pretty hard over there. Just a quick step and throw. But as far as his times to home, that's where the base stealers get going. And Wayne Kirby, the first base coach, he's on that watch all the time. Take a look at Adam Jones with the 11 steals and 13 attempts this season. There's the stopwatch there. And he's going to get the times. And if it's a green light, he's going to give it to Adam Jones.
0-1 count. And in the dirt, Molina with a nice stop. And it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Cobb has also thrown 5 wild pitches, and just watching him here, you can see why. He keeps the ball down so well. He's going to bounce a few. Yeah,
he throws his off-speed pitches around 55% of the time. So there are balls that are going to be bounced, especially that split finger. He likes to spike his curveball occasionally, so base runners have to be aware of that as well.
Because he was on the DL for so long, none of the numbers he has qualify to be in the rankings. Right to first, double play. Mercy. Well, the Orioles aren't out of it yet. That's what happened last night. I mean, yeah, they struggled with runners in scoring position, 2 for 14, but they hit the ball hard so often, but it was always right at somebody.
Right at him. Steve Pearce, a couple big at-bats last night in clutch situations, hit some bullets. They hit so hard, couldn't score any runs. Matt Wieters with the bomb to center field that just missed a home run, hit it so hard and got tangled up out there that nobody could really read it, so runners couldn't advance.
Shift is going to be on, so like that, there are 2 down. Here's Wieters. The big 3 for 5 in the ball game, a home run, and a couple of runs batted in the ball game last night. As we showed you in the open, he does a tremendous job against this Tampa Bay team. They changed that up again, putting the third baseman over. Why do they wait for the second pitch to do that?
I don't know why they do that.
Escobar, the shortstop, is back at the shortstop side now, and the third baseman Longoria is playing the other side of second. But on the first pitch, Longoria is over on the shortstop side, and Escobar is on the second base side. 2-0 delivery on the way, and there is a chopper. That's the third baseman, and an error. He's safe. Out of position, out of play. As Longoria, an easy bouncer, just fumbled it, and an error charge.
Yeah, the different look on that left side of the infield, a little over aggressive there on the slow roller, bobbles it. Matt Wieters hustling down the line, able to beat this one out, keep the inning going. Make Cobb throw a few more pitches, possibly get into some trouble here.
The 8th error rather committed by Longoria, and for the Rays, their 45th error. The Orioles have committed 38, and each has committed 1 in this game. So no sooner do we get done talking about the great defenses these two teams have than they each have committed an error, one resulting in an unearned run for Tampa Bay. And for Longoria, he's back over at third base and happy to be there.
Yeah, Tampa able to capitalize on that extra opportunity, and Orioles hoping they can as well.
Hardy at the plate. AJ last night, 3 singles in the ball game, and the pitch to him will be taken inside. So Hardy looking to take advantage of the error, the extra pitches that will have to be thrown here by the 25-year-old Alex Cobb. The Orioles hoping some extra base hits here with runners on. Pitch will be outside, and Hardy will get ahead on the count. Hardy with a couple of hits and 6 at-bats against Cobb. Cobb facing the Orioles for the first time this season. Against the Orioles, he has got a 1-0 mark in this his 3rd career start. He pitched here on September 12 in 2012 and had a no decision. Hardy pitch that was down and into him. Will just fight that off in a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Well, he just does not give in good fastball counts. Coming up with that splitter. Another off-speed pitch time and time again. Just keeps hitters in between and guessing.
He's mentioning how his numbers do not qualify to be among the official rankings because he hasn't pitched enough innings with the injury. If he did qualify, he'd have the 7th lowest ERA in the league, and his ground ball percentage would be the 1st in the majors in most ground balls by a pitcher. 2-2 delivery on the way, and Hardy will take it outside. So the count goes full 3-2. Matt Wieters will be running. Loney is going to go behind Wieters at first base. Stay close enough to keep him from wandering too far off and getting a big jump. 3-2 delivery, runner going. Hardy takes it and missed. That's a walk. So the error continued the inning, and Hardy continues it with a free pass.
Yeah, it made Cobb throw 6 more pitches. So nice at bat by J.J. Hardy.
And that will bring up Ryan Flaherty. Flaherty getting the start at second base, batting 8th. Brian Roberts, the DH, is batting 9th in the ball game. So Ryan with runners at first and second and 2 down. Flaherty in his 72nd game, 206 at bats for him. He's had extra base hits and 8 doubles, 7 home runs, 18 RBIs for Flaherty. And Hickey's coming out. Molina went out in a hurry to talk to Cobb, and whatever that's about, Hickey wanted to know.
Yeah, definitely just a matter of regrouping the troops after the error and then the walk to J.J. Hardy. This is a situation early in the ball game. You don't want the wheels to come off, so settle them down, get them back into a groove, and start pounding that strike zone again. That's all that is. Just give them a breather and refocus.
1-0 count on Flaherty. The Orioles with the 2 for 14 with runners in scoring position last night. Still, Orioles are second in the American League as a team, hitting .277. Tampa Bay is third at .276. And the first chance in these situations in this game for the Orioles. Here's the 1-0 delivery on the way, and Flaherty will foul it off. Ryan this season, when he's had these chances, he's 9 for 49. 184 with runners in scoring position for the O's second baseman.
Now, Ryan Flaherty's had a very interesting year. A slow start, really played a lot of games at second base, but offensively couldn't quite pick it up. Went down to AAA for about 10 days, got his swing back, and really came back red hot. His average picked up, got it well up over 200. Started to play more consistently. And of course, with Brian Roberts coming back, the at-bats have been limited, but continues to play great defense when he gets the opportunities, and has come up with some big hits for the Orioles when he gets a chance to play.
There are the 2-on. Leaders reaching in the air at second base. The walk to Hardy at first. Ground ball to the hole. It's going to be a base hit. Myers has a weak arm. Dickerson will wave the runner home. Here's the throw. Cut off to third. Not in time there either. Flaherty with an RBI. Base hit. Leader scores. Ball game is tied.
And that's how you break the ice right there. A big hit by Ryan Flaherty. Of course, this inning extended with the error by Longoria. And Ryan Flaherty taking advantage of it, staying on the split finger down in the zone and hammering it through the hole. Next thing you know, there's going to be a play. Myers coming up, throwing the cut by Loney, and he redirects to third, but nice hustle by J.J. Hardy. See Matt Wieters there, and J.J. Hardy sliding into third on the back end. Big hit by Flaherty.
So credit Ryan Flaherty with the RBI, and the Orioles get an unearned run of their own. His 19th run batted in. Runners at first and third, and here's Brian Roberts, the DH in this game. Brian puts it up in the air to right field, hit it deep, going back. Myers warning track and will put it away. 370 feet to right center. Orioles get a run on a couple of hits and an error and tie it up at 1. By Chapin Davis Investments, Baltimore's oldest and largest full-service investment company. Call 1-800-222-3246 or visit chapindavis.com. By PNC for the achiever in you, and by 5-Hour Energy. On the Inner Harbor, and a great place to be on this summer day, and not far from there, of course, Camden Yards, the Orioles' home, where the Orioles are 35-27 this season. In a 1-1 ball game with Flaherty picking up the unearned run and the RBI to tie it up. So these two great defensive teams each giving up an unearned run. For the Orioles, only 25 unearned runs surrendered this year, 28 given up by Tampa Bay. Here's Kelly Johnson, the DH, batting ninth. 1 for 3 in the ball game, an RBI last night, bunting for a base hit, lays down a good one. Gonzalez gets it and gets the out.
Nice play right there by Miguel Gonzalez, actually calling off the Gold Glove catcher Matt Wieters, and then making the nice bare hand play and taking his time with a good throw to Chris Davis. Helping himself. That is certainly a key to be a successful pitcher. If you can field your position, take advantage of those outs that are given to you.
So Desmond Jennings, leadoff batter, comes up with one down, a strikeout victim. His first time up, and happy to say he's been able to stay in the ball game. As here's what happened in his first at bat.
Yeah, check swing on a good breaking ball from Gonzalez. It bounces up and catches him right in the right eye. And that's going to leave a shiner for sure. And it took a while to get the tears out of that eye.
1-0 delivery on the way, and a strike on the outside corner. Jennings 3 for 14 with 2 home runs off Gonzalez. Miguel has given up 18 homers this season. 13 of the 18 have been hit by right-handers. And the delivery is taken down low. The Orioles won this season series last year 10-8, and they took 6 out of 9 here at Camden Yards. That's been turned around this year as the Tampa Bay Rays lead 8-5, and they've won 5 out of 7 here in this ballpark, including the last 4 games here at Camden Yards between these two teams won by the Rays.
Yeah, they've had the Orioles number here recently. The Orioles certainly have to turn that fortune around.
3 ball, 1 strike count. Jennings will foul it back. Wieters setting up away, and the 3-2 delivery. That's where it was, and it's fouled back again. Jennings fighting him off to keep it at 3-2.
Gonzalez showing good command of his fastball here in the early going of this ball game, working that one up and away.
Jennings did this last night too with these extended at bats. This will be pitch number 7 of this at bat, and on a 3-2 he wins the battle as he gets the walk. That comes with 1 away here in the 3rd inning. Walk number 2 by Gonzalez. You can win a hitting lesson with Adam Jones. Just join Masson's Touch 'em All rewards for your chance to win the grand prize. Go to massonsports.com to sign up. Little breeze blowing out to right field here in the 3rd inning. Zobrist up. He flied out his first time up. Very gentle breeze tonight. A very summer-like night.
Yeah, Brian Roberts needed those flags to be blowing a little bit stiffer. He just missed that.
Yep.
Last at bat to right field.
0-1 count. Zobrist has not had a hit against Gonzalez. He is 0 for 14 in his career against the Oriole right-hander. Zobrist, one of the real good hitters against the Orioles, .320 this year against the O's coming into the ball game. 0-1 delivery to him. That's going to be a base hit down into the corner. Markakis a long way to go. Jennings is going to be waved home. Jennings on his way. There'll be a relay throw to the plate. No, he's in. It's a double for Zobrist. His first hit off Gonzalez, and it brings Jennings all the way around from first 2-1.
Jennings with the great speed, able to score rather easily on that. Orioles defense kind of moved around in the outfield. Zobrist just hammers this pitch. It was out on the outer third. He gets it by Chris Davis, but it's open down that right field line. You see Jennings hustling. Nick Markakis getting the ball before he gets to third, but an aggressive send. He scores easily. Zobrist ends up on second base.
So a 2-1 lead for the Rays as Zobrist delivers RBI number 59 for the switch hitter. Now here's Longoria, runner at second, and 1 out. And Longoria rips it. That's going to be a base hit. Big jump. Zobrist, they're going to hold him. Jones gets it into the cutoff man, right on the money to Davis. So Longoria gets the single. Runners at first and third, and the last two have been tic-tacked by Zobrist and Longoria.
They sure have. That last pitch elevated to Longoria, and he just does not miss, especially right now. He's been red hot over the last week or so. Just hammering balls. Of course, last night hit a home run off Chris Tillman. There's a bullet up the middle off Gonzalez.
So Joyce coming to the plate, hitting only .225 with runners in scoring position, below that .249 overall number. He reached on a walk and was stranded in the second inning. 2 runs on 3 hits, 2 in this inning by the Rays. And that ball jammed him a little bit, but he got a lot of it. It'll score a run. Markakis back on the warning track, makes the catch. Runner's going to go to second as well, and will get there. A sacrifice fly for Joyce. Zobrist scores from third, and a 3-1 Tampa Bay lead.
Well, and that's how you do it. A runner at third base. Good job getting the bat head there, and a nice double tag as Evan Longoria went back and challenged Nick Markakis. The ball kept drifting, and Markakis ended up getting on his heels as he chased that ball down to deep right center. Longoria ends up in scoring position himself.
Joyce gets his 39th run batted in, and a 3-1 lead. And here's Myers, called out on strikes his first time up. And Wieters wants to go out to have a word here, as they weren't sure with the runner at second base, maybe on the signs or just what to throw.
Usually that's what it is. A runner gets to second base, making sure they're in the right sequence, so don't put down the wrong fingers.
So a runner at second base with 2 out. Orioles will shift the infield around, putting Flaherty again, the second baseman, behind second base, playing into pole, left field straight away. Gonzalez starts it out with a strike at the knees.
Well, Miguel has the ability to throw all of his pitches for strikes. That's a nice first pitch slider right there to get ahead. And Myers, he was thinking about what had happened in his first at bat, as he stood there, just a pair of shoes on a fastball right down the middle. Now he doesn't know what's coming.
A 1 pitch will be outside. Gonzalez started the season against Tampa Bay, his first start, a win, as he gave up 2 runs, 5 hits, and 6 in the third. The Orioles won it 4-2. He was non-decisioned a couple weeks later against Tampa Bay. Gave up 5 runs, 8 hits, and 5 2/3 innings in that ball game. But the Orioles came back to win 10-6. 1-1 delivery on the way down to third. Foul territory. Long throw by Manny, and it's on the money. That will retire Myers, but another couple of runs in on 2 hits with the base runner left on. 3-1 Rays. consecutive losses for the first time since June 20 and 21. They're now 25-5, though, since the All-Star break. They only lost for the third time in 22 games on the road. Pedro Alvarez, remember that name, Pittsburgh. He now leads the National League in home runs with 31. The last Pirate to lead the National League in homers, Willie Stargell, in 1973. And the Reds have won 7 of their last 9, scoring 5 or more runs in 5 of those ball games. And they now are up 6 games on Arizona for the second wild card berth and challenging for a division run.
Yeah, pretty impressive run here by the Cincinnati Reds, and the Dodgers amazing, 25-5 since the break. But Pedro Alvarez, incredible power numbers. Last year hit 30 home runs, and they are playing some really good baseball with the help of his bat.
He is 26 years old. He came up under John Russell when John was managing at Pittsburgh. I asked John about Alvarez today. I said, is this guy for real? And he went, yeah. Said he's a young, powerful hitter. Takes the ball particularly, he said, well to right center, but he said he can drive the ball out of the yard anywhere. But really likes the way he plays. It's interesting. I mean, John Russell deserves some credit for what's going on in Pittsburgh. He won't get much of it. But John was the one there when these players who are now becoming stars first came to the Pirates. John's the one who helped scout, helped organize, made decisions on who stays and who goes. And as so often happens, somebody else gains the benefits, reaps the rewards of that work. But John, he was there when many of these current players on this Pittsburgh team were just breaking in. Nate McLouth on a big swing and a strike. Nate grounded out his first time up. Back to the top of the order here. McLouth, Machado, and Davis in the bottom half of the third inning. 25-year-old Alex Cobb, 7-2 on the year. 1-2 delivery. McLouth takes it. It's right there. And Cobb gets his second strikeout.
Wow, a couple really good pitches to Nate McLouth. Saw the big curveball prior to this two-seamer. Look at the movement on it as it comes back over and catches that inside corner. Very good job of pitching by Cobb, showing what he's really all about. Mixing up his pitches, letting the ball work.
One down. Cobb will work to Manny Machado. Machado on the ground ball out. His first time up. Manny will take the first pitch, and it is in there for a strike, and he throws a lot of first strikes. An incredible 79% of leadoff batters retired in the 14 previous games that he started. I mean, 70% is really good. You get up there in the upper 70s, 77, 79. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, how much does that help a team out?
I mean, that's a leadoff man on once a game. Here's the 0-1, and that will be bunted, trying to get the base hit. Machado, and he will foul that one off. And a 2-strike count.
Not a bad idea right there by Manny Machado as he looked down and saw Evan Longoria playing deep. Try to take advantage of that. Get a runner on with the power coming up of Davis and Jones.
0-2. Manny taking his time to settle back in. Davis waiting on deck. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Manny, a ground ball off the fist, third base, Evan Longoria. Machado's retired, and there are 2 away here in the third inning. That'll bring up Chris Davis. The Tonka baseball with the 45 home runs has gone into a season with the Orioles, reached only by Brady Anderson, who had 50 in '96, Frank Robinson 49 in '66, and Jim Gentile, who had 46 in '61. Right over the bag and a foul ball. Loney with a nice play anyway.
Yeah, it was a good play. You certainly have to make sure of it. He came out with it.
Let's take a look at our AT&T Mobility Trivia fact. Chris Davis, 24 home runs in this ballpark this year. The club record for home runs in a home stadium is 27. Frank Robinson set it at Memorial in 1966. And Frank Robinson had 49 total home runs in that 1966 year. And for the Orioles, major league leaders in home runs. That's a strike called and a check swing by Andy Fletcher at third. The last Oriole to lead the league in home runs was Eddie Murray in '81, but that was a strike-shortened season. He was tied for the lead with only 22 homers. In a regular season, Frank Robinson's mark in '66 at 49 not only led the American League but the major leagues. That's the last Oriole to lead the league in homers. That got Davis. It hit him on the foot. So Chris is hit with 2 down, and he goes to first base.
Chris couldn't hold up on a curveball. The pitch prior, Cobb goes right back to it and catches Chris Davis on the back foot. Pushes him right off the toe, and he'll take that free pass with the 2 strikes.
So Davis on at first base, third batter hit this year by Cobb, and it will give Jones a chance at the plate. 9 times Chris Davis has been hit by a pitch. 11 times he's been intentionally walked. A couple of the more unusual ways to make base. 2 down. Jones a single his first time up. Now a 5-game hit streak. Adam will take it for a strike. Adam against Cobb. A couple of hits in 7 at bats. Very short lead for Davis at first. Loney holding the bag over there. And a little too long in the hold on the mound by Cobb. We were talking last night about David Price, thinking that he has slowed his rhythm down like by 90% from what he used to be. I asked some of the Tampa Bay people about that, and they said, yep. And last night may have been the slowest ever for him for whatever reason. 0-1 delivery, and that's on the inside corner, and the count will go to 0-2.
Well, this Orioles offense just had him grinding through. I mean, there was never an easy inning. I mean, they really did get to Price in last night's ball game, but he took the time when needed and came up with the big pitch. I mean, he was in crucial situations, and the Orioles had many opportunities to really bust that game open, but when he had to bear down, he took his time and he made the proper pitch.
0-2 delivery to right field, going back Myers, and he's got it. Ooh, wow. Turned one way, caught it going the other. Almost a snow cone. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left on base, 3 complete. For the achiever in you.
Yeah, Parker Bridwell, the youngster, had a great week with Delmarva last week. 8 strong innings pitched, 2 hits allowed in the ball game, no walks, and 14 strikeouts. And he was named the South Atlantic League Pitcher of the Week. So congratulations to Parker Bridwell. And he is one of those other young, strong arms trying to work his way up to the major leagues and help the Baltimore Orioles out.
A little work being done, as you see, around home plate before we go to the 4th inning. A 3-1 lead for the Rays as they Rays able to put some runs up on the board, taking advantage of an Orioles error in the second inning. Gonzalez on the throw over to first base. RBI single by Escobar would bring that run home. And they added a couple more in the third inning. RBI double Zobrist, sac fly by Joyce. The Orioles responding with an unearned run of their own on a Flaherty base hit in the second inning. And that's the 3-1 score up on the board. Now Gonzalez will get to take his tosses. Well, we have a minute for Oriole fans. You may not have seen it. SABR is the research arm of baseball, not just Major League Baseball, but all baseball. They put out various project books. There's a new one out, their second book, called Memorable Teams in History, out of the University of Nebraska Press. Pitching, defense, and 3-run homers, the 1970 Orioles. Edited by Malcolm Allen and Mark Armour, and a SABR Bio project. It is now available. You can go online, and I think the whole book is online actually, or you can purchase it at the SABR bookstore online. It's sabr.org. sabr.org. Looks like a pretty good book. I haven't read it all, but it looks pretty good.
I bet it is. Of course, great teams, obviously, the Baltimore Orioles back then.
That's the 3-run blast Orioles. Here's James Loney. Loney, a strikeout victim, his first time up. Escobar and Molina are due up. And Loney will go after the first one for a strike. Loney coming into the year, a 282 career Major League average. Nothing wrong with that. But as Mike had talked about, he'd slipped a bit with the Dodgers. Last year hit only 254 with them, and then hit 230 with the Red Sox, playing in 30 games for Boston. 0-1 delivery, lined up the middle, and that is going to be a base hit. So the leadoff man on, fourth inning.
And a really good first pitch. Nice split finger to start Loney off, but he elevated that fastball, and Loney didn't miss it. Took it right back through the box. Clean base hit.
2 out of 4 innings, leadoff man on for the Rays. Gonzalez has done a good job of keeping them off this year at 72% retiring leadoff batter. Yunel Escobar, RBI base hit, 9-game hit streak for Escobar. Very short lead at first for Loney, not a base stealer, and the pitch will be taken for a strike.
Escobar not really liking that call and the fastball away. Matt Wieters received it well enough to get the call, though, by home plate umpire Rob Drake.
Oh, 1 to the shortstop. Gonzalez's delivery will be a slow roller. Manny Machado is going to have to go to first. Will records the out. Loney goes to second base with one away. Well, the next firework night here at Oriole Park scheduled for Friday. The O's take on the A's at 7:05, and then the post-game display. A beautiful fireworks display set to the hits of the Beatles, commemorating the 50th anniversary of their American debut. I'm going to put them in the American League yet. Get your tickets in advance and save 888-848-BIRD, or go to Orioles.com. The Beatles were, after all, an American League team. Except they performed at Shea Stadium. Here's Jose Molina. Molina, 3-4-3 ground ball out first time up. This time a swinging and a miss on the first one. Runner at second and 1 out. His RBI chances they've taken advantage of. And a 2 for 9 in the ball game last night. Escobar coming through with a 2-out RBI in the second inning. 0-1 count. And that fastball is there for a strike. 0-2.
Another good fastball. Molina thinking with that big cut on the first one, no way Gonzalez is going to double up with it. Right back with it to freeze him up.
2 walks, 3 strikeouts for Gonzalez. A walk and 2 strikeouts for Cobb. Gonzalez ahead here, 0-2. Pretty good secondary lead at second base. And the runner's going to stay. Play made by Hardy, and he will get the out. Molina retired. 2 down.
You hit a ground ball to J.J. Hardy, you just make a right turn and head back to the dugout. A nice, clean, fundamentally sound play as he ranged up the middle.
Tampa Bay with a 2 for 4, runners in scoring position in the ball game. That'll bring up Kelly Johnson. The DH batting ninth, grounded out his first time up. Couple of hits and 8 at bats. Lifetime off Gonzalez. He gets the chance here with the runner at second and 2 down. And he will take the pitch for a strike. As we suggested, plate umpire Rob Drake strike zone can be a little bit wide and a little bit high.
And it's up to the pitchers to try to take advantage of that.
And the hitters to know that.
Yeah, to be aware of it, sure.
0-1 count. And that pitch is there for a strike. And Gonzalez quickly gets ahead of him 0-2.
Gonzalez only 9 pitches in this inning, and all 9 pitches for strikes. That's what you want to see.
Here's the 0-2 delivery to him. Johnson, 329 with runners in scoring position. Good number for the Rays. Luke Scott out of the lineup. Another one of the hitters who's had a hit over 300 with runners in scoring position. They miss his bat in the lineup. Back problems for the former Oriole. Foul right straight back into the screen. Matt Moore, the pitcher, they hope is going to be back next week. That certainly won't hurt their cause. He's on a schedule that is throwing and hopes to be back at the ball club next week. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Loney off second base and chops it foul. Loney, big lead at second. 1 ball, 2 strike delivered to Johnson, and he will put that one down the line, headed to the seats foul. And that's where it'll end up.
And fouling off some pretty tough pitches here against Miguel Gonzalez. Gonzalez getting ahead of him, now trying to work the perimeter, shorten up his swing, and just fighting to stay alive.
Pretty good at bat again by Kelly Johnson. Trying to find his pitch. He's only had 3 hits in his last 20 at bats. 1-2 delivery on the way, and everybody headed to the dugout except the home plate umpire.
Whew. That is a really good pitch from Miguel Gonzalez, and that pitch has been called a strike here in the early part of this ball game. A 2-seamer, and it catches the corner. A nice pitch from Miguel Gonzalez. Well, Matt Wieters was setting up too.
The field was tilting towards the first baseline.
Yeah, everybody was heading in.
2 ball, 2 strike count. Now he's got to come back again on him, and we'll miss that one a little further inside and low. So 3 balls and 2 strikes on Johnson. Loney, the leadoff single on at second base. Moved up on the ground ball. 3-1 lead for the Rays. And here's the 3-2. Chopper. Oh, it's going to be tough. Gonzalez has got to make it. Can't. It'll be a base hit. Kelly Johnson gets the infield single. That will move Loney over to third base. First and third now with 2 down.
Well, sometimes it's an unfair game. Miguel Gonzalez with a great pitch, just what he wanted to do. But Johnson just gets enough of it, puts it in a perfect spot. And now runners at first and third.
And Bill Castro, the interim pitching coach for the Orioles, was the bullpen coach. Will make a trip to the mound here. Try and settle it down, looking for that out. Rick Adair, the Orioles pitching coach, on personal leave time at the moment. So Bill taking over as the pitching coach for the Orioles. And Scotty McGregor, of course, has moved into the bullpen job.
Right. And Bill Castro, there's a look at Scotty McGregor out there in the Orioles bullpen, giving some of those young arms a lot of his great advice. Certainly a great pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles.
Loney at third base. Kelly Johnson at first. 5 hits for the Rays, out hitting the Orioles 5-2. And Jennings a walk, a run scored, and he has struck out. Leadoff batter, 2 on, 2 down. And the pitch will be outside for a ball. Jennings hitting .247 with runners in scoring position. So far as a team, 3 for 5 for the Rays. Outfield plays him deep. Jones shaded to right. That's where he's being pitched away, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, there's a look at the formation. Adam Jones over there on the second base side in the center field.
Gonzalez up to 66 pitches thrown in the ball game. One ball, 1 strike count. Miguel's delivery to him. That'll be down to third. Manny Machado the backhand and gets the out at second base. So they force Johnson at second. No runs. Couple of hits. 2 are left on. 3-1 Rays. Association's 30th anniversary Heart Ball, and are now offering fans a unique ticket savings opportunity. Go to Orioles.com/AHA. Receive 50% off tickets to any O's game between now and September 8 simply by donating $10 to the American Heart Association for each ticket purchased. That's half price on all tickets for games between now and September 8 just for making a charitable contribution to this worthy cause. Visit Orioles.com/AHA now. The Capris. There's a moon out tonight. Beautiful full moon here over Camden Yards, clear skies. Once a disc jockey, always a disc jockey. Sad but true. Numbers for Alex Cobb so far. And Nick Markakis leads it off. And the pitch down low for a ball.
You don't see many pitchers at this level with just 37% fastballs. That tells you how many times he's mixing up his off-speed pitches.
Markakis, Wieters, and Hardy are due up for the O's here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Cobb's pitch will bounce. And a 2-0 count. Nick lined into a double play first time up. One of those screaming yellow memes right to Loney at first base. And no chance for Jones to get back to the bag.
Oh, Nick would love for that one to find some outfield grass. He's been working hard on trying to get a more consistent swing.
That one in the air to left field. JOYCE. And one away here in the 4th inning. Let's take a look at our Chevy League Leaderboard, brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Yeah, most home runs as a catcher since 2011. Matt Wieters leading the way. We talk about his Gold Glove play behind the plate, but 60 home runs, that's ahead of McCann. McCann with just 59, Aaron Sebia 58, Martin 50, and Saltalamacchia with 49. So not only are we getting a Gold Glove catcher to see every day, one of the most prolific power hitting catchers since 2011.
And a bouncer to Wieters. Wieters reached on the air, a charge to Longoria, who was playing on the right side of the infield on the shift. He's not playing there anymore. No, really isn't.
No, he's not, but you never know. They move within the count.
Here's the 1-0 delivery, and that's fouled off. Wieters would score in the RBI by Flaherty, and there they go. There he goes. I got to ask Joe Madden about this. Why does he do this? He waits to some point in the count. Now it's 1-1 apparently until Wieters has a strike on him, and then moves Longoria over and brings Escobar back.
Might be the risk of the early bunt attempt possibly by Matt Wieters. Keep Longoria over there. He's adept at making that barehanded play, kind of running in, but as soon as one pitch is thrown, they make the adjustment defensively.
This is when we need to have the manager mic'd. Can we get that in under the new rules?
Yeah.
Managers always mic, so if we have a question,
Well, I will say this: it keeps the infield in every ball game, every pitch, because there are a lot of moving parts going on throughout an at bat.
Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way, and Cobb just missed inside. So a full count, 3-2 on Wieters. One down, bases are empty. Matt coming in with a .339 lifetime average and 14 home runs against Tampa Bay. 3-2 pitch, check swing. Did he go? Yes. Play's got to be made, though. So two really slow people will tag. One will tag the other out. That's the fastest Molina's run in 2 days. But he got the job done. So Wieters retired on the strikeout. The third edition of Orioles Magazine is on sale now throughout the ballpark. Pick up your copy today for only $5. Enjoy articles about Manny Machado, Chris Tillman, along with inside information about all your favorite past, current, and future Orioles. Also, on your next trip to the ballpark, get your copy of Orioles Kids, only $3. This publication perfect. It's a great souvenir for the younger O's fans. Features puzzles, games, Q&As with Oriole players. At the ballpark now. Three strikeouts for Cobb. Two down, nobody on. Hardy, 0-1. Center field, hit hard. Jennings back, this time with room. He's got it. Well, some fly balls being hit off Cobb. Usually that does not happen. He retires the side in order, protects the lead. He's having one last night. Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick with you. Take a look at Cobb and what he's doing here. Mike, when you're in the batter's box seeing him, what are you trying to do against him?
Boy, I'll tell you what he is doing is breaking up the timing and rhythm of these Orioles hitters. He's throwing all these off-speed pitches. He has a good split finger. He's throwing his curveball early for strikes, and then he tries to surprise attack these guys inside with that two-seam fastball. But his presentation out there, his delivery is really unorthodox, and I don't think a lot of hitters get to see pitchers like this very often. He has a hesitation at the top, has a high leg kick, and it's throwing off the timing. So what you really have to do is pick one pitch, try to time him up in the on-deck circle or while you're in the dugout, get that pitch and make the most of it.
Do you do what Manny Machado did earlier, maybe? Not just him, but others? Do you try and lay down a bunt if you have an opportunity to do that?
I think if there are opportunities there, you do whatever you can to try to disrupt his rhythm and try to get guys on base and try to hopefully come up with a big hit. Yeah, you want to put pressure on him and this Tampa Bay defense.
Well, Gonzalez, with the ball club trailing by a score of 3-1, works here in the 5th inning. 3 runs, 5 hits, an error for the Rays. 1 run, 2 hits, an error for the Orioles. Each team has an unearned run in the ballgame. Ben Zobrist, RBI doubled. Now with 1 hit and 7 at-bats in this series, and his first hit ever off Gonzalez. Now 1 for 15 against him. Swing and a miss. One of those splitters dropping off the table, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. He's kind of walked away talking to himself on that one. Seeing Gonzalez use that pitch, not only when he's ahead in the count, but even when he's behind now, he'll throw that. He's got such confidence in it. 1-1 delivery, and then came back with a fastball, 1-2.
Yeah, very similar to Cobb in that regard. I mean, it's a good pitch. It looks like it's a fastball coming in, and when he's right, it drops off the table at the bottom of the zone, but he has the ability to throw it for strikes, and he gets the swing and misses with it as well.
Zobrist, 3 hits in his last 20 at-bats, covering the last 5+ games. 1-ball, 2-strike count on him. And up the middle again, and he's got another base hit. So Zobrist may be out of his slump. He came in hitless in 9. Started the ball game out flying out, and then has broken out of it with a double and now a single. And the leadoff man on.
Evan Longoria has been red hot. Take a look through August 13th, though, hit .264 with 22 home runs. His strikeouts way up, ground balls way up to 40%, and that batting average at .266. But he has been red hot since August 14th. Take a look what he's doing on fastball. .636 batting average. Ground balls down 21%. That's where they like to see him.
And a strike taken on the outside corner by Evan Longoria. .274, 25 homers, 66 RBIs for the centerpiece of this Tampa Bay team. Multiple hit games, 5 of his last 6. Runner at first, nobody out. And Longoria going for the long ball on that one, 0-2.
Yeah, he wanted to jump all over that Miguel Gonzalez fastball, but pretty good location, a nice movement up and in is where it ended up at 92 miles an hour.
Longoria's had home runs now in back-to-back games. Last time he did that was June 10, 11, and 12 when he had back-to-back-to-back home run ball games. Runner at first, the 0-2 delivery to him, and he'll foul it back.
And take a look at the damage done within the own division. Most home runs. Chris Davis leading the way with 20 in the East, but Evan Longoria on that list as well with 17. Encarnacion in Toronto 19. Of course, Cabrera on the list with 16 as well. But hey, if you can do some damage within your division, you're going to be contending for a long way. A couple marquee matchups here with Longoria and Davis.
And another big cut, foul back into the screen. He has had 1 home run. Longoria has off Gonzalez. He's picked up 5 hits now in 13 at bats. 1 of the 5 a homer. Against the Orioles this season, .333, 3 home runs, and 7 RBIs for Longoria. 0-2 count. Zobrist at first. And he punches that one back. These foul balls telling you he's that close to getting one lined up. 2 before that. Even closer to being squared up than that last one was.
Yeah, Gonzalez with a couple good pitches on his fastballs, working up and in and then up and away there. Make mistakes on the plate. Longoria isn't missing him right now.
Still at 0-2. Wieters sets up. Looks like he's going to go away. Does. And that'll be punched in the air to right field. Runner halfway. Markakis the catch. And Zobrist back. 1 out.
A good late movement on a split finger from Miguel Gonzalez as it rode in on the label of Longoria. He was getting his head out on the fastballs. Nice little change of pace. Ties him up.
That will bring Matt Joyce to the place. Cleanup batter tonight. Walk, a run scored in the 2nd inning. Sacrifice fly, RBI. No official at bat tonight, but a very steady part in the ball game. 2-run homer last night. Decisive in the 4-3 win by the Rays. Infield with a shift and a swing and a miss in the off-speed delivery.
And Joyce had a nice game last night. A base hit, and of course that 2-run home run, and he was eventually pinch hit for.
Yeah.
The end of that ball game.
He's had 2 home runs now in 4 days, coming after 123 at bats without a homer. 0-1 delivery, bounce. Wieters stops it and will hold the runner at first base. Zobrist back to the bag. Joyce is really red hot right now. He's hitting .341 over 18 games coming into this ball game tonight. A real hot bat. Rays went through that tremendous month of July and then had a swoon at the end of it coming into August. They are 7-8 in the month of August. But as we mentioned last night, their bats are heating up again. 1 ball, 1 strike. Off speed away. Last year, this Tampa Bay team averaged about 3.5 runs a game against the Orioles. This year, 5.9. So they've really upped the offensive production against the O's this season for Joe Maddon's ball club. 2-1 count. Zobrist going nowhere. The pitch is in there for a strike. Tied him up, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, once again, just mixing up the pitches. And Joyce kind of guessing wrong there. That was an elevated split finger. It just never came down in the zone, and it just froze him.
Two. Runner not going. Swing is fouled. At the end of the bat on that one. And holds the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Gonzalez is up to 82 pitches and not through the 5th inning. That pitch counts up there again.
Yeah, it is. 82 is a pretty big number here for the middle part of the ball game. Give Tampa Bay some credit, fouling off some tough pitches, extending some innings.
Battling here with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Runner again holding. Pitch just misses. So the count will go to 3-2. The patience you see from these Rays hitters is one of the reasons they are 4th in walks in the American League. They pick up their wins by keeping the on-base percentage high and the runner in scoring position average high. The Orioles, of course, much more inclined to do it with the long ball, leaving the majors in homers. Runner goes, ball 4. So Gonzalez has walked 3, and this will put runners at first and second with 1 out.
I'm hoping that Joyce is going to be a little bit aggressive in that situation. A 3-2 count tries to get him to bite on the split finger. Just spiked it a little bit too much, and that'll bring pitching coach Bill Castro out to the mound. Try to calm him down in a tough situation here. Here's the pitch count. 17 pitches in this inning, up to 84. Just one pitch away from a double play ball. That's what Bill Castro is telling him, trying to get back into the focus, work down in the zone. To the rookie bat of Will Myers.
Had a clean inning to start the ball game, but since Rays have been able to get at least 2 runners on in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings, and they have the 3-1 lead. So Myers up. He has struck out, grounded out, 1 hit in 6 at bats in the 2 ball games. Myers with runners at 1st and 2nd, looking for the ground ball double play. And a chopper off the glove. It's going to end up being a base hit. It would have been a tailor-made double play if it had gone through, but it was knocked away by Gonzalez, and an infield single for Myers.
And probably one of the toughest things for a pitcher to do is let a ball go by them. You see Ryan Flaherty right there, and J.J. Hardy always has good range up the middle. He just reacts to it. And unfortunately for him, right off the end of the glove, and that deflects it away far enough they can't even record an out here in this situation.
And the Orioles bullpen activated. T.J. McFarland. That's the 3rd of those kind of hits in this game tonight for Tampa Bay. Diving Quail out in center field earlier, a little roller back to the mound.
Yeah.
And take nothing away. They're taking advantage of it. Now the bases are loaded. Zobrist with a single at 3rd, the walk to Joyce, the single by Myers. And here's Loney, who has struck out and singled. 1 away. And Loney will take the pitch for a strike. Here is a big at-bat here in the 5th inning.
Well, one thing Miguel Gonzalez is really good at is shaking things off. That is fearless on the mound. That's a type of situation where maybe a pitcher without that kind of poise could get frustrated at himself and then try to force the issue and make a mistake here. It looks like he's right back on track.
Ground ball, got a chance. Flaherty, he'll go to short. There's one. Relay over to first, and they turn the double play. And a great pivot by Hardy on a hard slide taken by Myers. No runs on a couple of hits. The double play will end the inning. It remains a 3-1 Rays lead. Lottery hit a big contestant of the game gets $500 for any Orioles home run. Denise Hodge, you have already won $700 tonight. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery hit it big contestant of the game, play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter. Flaherty will be leading it off. Robertson and McLouth due up for the O's here in the 5th inning. Orioles so far 2-2 on the homestand. They will finish up this series tomorrow. Wei-Yin Chen on the mound, 6-6 against Jeremy Hellickson, 10-6. 6:30 O's extra, 7 o'clock for the ball game. Tampa Bay Rays. The Orioles will be taking one more trip to Tampa Bay. That will come towards the end of the season, the end of September. And the O's will be going back out on the road. Everybody talking about the end of the season schedule for the Orioles with those final 3 weeks, all division games. Yankees, Toronto, Boston, 4 in Tampa Bay, and then Toronto and Boston here at home. And Flaherty will take the pitch for a strike. Flaherty, an RBI base hit, his first time up. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And a nice job starting that inning, ending double play to help bail Miguel Gonzalez out of some trouble.
And that one, foul ball right at the plate. And a 2-strike count on Flaherty.
Well, shift in motion. Longoria moving to second base.
Amazing. This one comes on an 0-2 count. And a check swing and a ball down and in. 1 ball, 2-strike count from Cobb, who has walked 1, struck out 3. Flaherty trying to get on here. If you really trusted your bunting ability, it'd be so sweet to be able to just lay one down. But with a 2-strike count, can't take the chance. Molina stopped Cobb. You saw him stand up. He didn't want him throwing the ball. Counted a ball and 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. So a strikeout. That'll be number 4 for Cobb.
A pretty good breaking ball there from Cobb. Take a look at it. It shows itself. Looks like it's going to be a good pitch, but the late bite at the end as it drops down and out of the zone. Ryan Flaherty giving chase and can't quite get to it to keep the at-bat alive.
That's a nasty yacker right there.
It sure is.
That had some movement.
Yeah, good rotation.
Here is Brian Roberts. Roberts flying out right field his first time up. He takes the pitch. It's a strike. Brian looking for his first hit in this series. 0 for 6 in the 2 games. Roberts .294 against the Rays this season. .280 lifetime. 0-1 delivery to him and a chopper to short. Escobar. 2 down. On Sunday, the first 5,000 kids 14 and under will receive a set of Orioles earbuds presented by PNC. Bring the family out to the ballpark. Have a great day here at Camden Yards. Then you can listen to your favorite music in style with your earbuds. So get your tickets in advance and save 888-848-BIRD. You go to Orioles.com. McLouth up. He is struck out, grounded out. Cool dude in the seats there. And McLouth in the air, left field. Joyce will get over. And Cobb's right now get this thing under control. That's 7 in a row that he's retired. The Orioles have not had a hit since the 2nd inning. the Outback. And by T-Mobile. Now your choice is simple. T-Mobile on Leash. Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick here at beautiful Camden Yards. And another real good ball game in this division matchup. A lot of youngsters on hand, going to catch some games before school gets underway.
Yeah, not much longer before they're back in school. They'd like to get some of those earbuds we were talking about in the last inning.
Take the bird to school with them.
Yeah, exactly. They can listen to the ball game.
So the Orioles here in the 6th inning will try and get a quick one. Gonzalez, 1-2-3 inning in the first, not since. And a great breaking ball that really jelly-legged Escobar. Escobar an RBI single, and he is grounded out.
Yeah, nice first pitch breaking ball from Miguel Gonzalez.
Here's the 0-1 to him, and the shortstop on a pitch away, 0-2. Escobar 4 for 12 now off Gonzalez. Miguel closing in on the 90 pitch mark here in the 6th inning. 0-2 delivery, and Escobar will take it outside. 2 ball, 1 strike count.
Oh, you really can't say enough about Miguel in that last inning. Got himself into some trouble. Of course, didn't help himself by deflecting a ball back up the middle. It could have eventually potentially got him out of the inning. A double play ball, but kept his focus and came up with a huge double play. 4-6-3.
That'll be fouled off. Miguel trying to keep his good run at home alive. He's 5-1 at home, 3-4 on the road this year. 8-3 lifetime at home for the Orioles. 9-6 on the road. Here at Camden Yards this year, 9 home starts. That 5-1 record goes with a 4.18 earned run average. 1 ball, 2 strike delivery. Great pitch after he'd set him up for that one with a pitch away.
Yeah, nice job. Hey, Miguel Gonzalez is fearless about throwing in. He missed his spot. Matt Wieters was setting up down and away, but you really have to take it. Like every pitch has a purpose.
2-2 delivery on the way, goes away again and just missed. So a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes on the leadoff batter Escobar. Leadoff man on in the 2nd inning. They scored a run. Leadoff man on in both the 4th and 5th innings. They did not. Full count. And got it. Nice try, but
well, you called it. He jelly-legged him on the first pitch breaking ball, and here 3-2 count. Got him again. You see his upper body lean back. He gave up on it. Well, Gonzalez gets the call. Big strikeout. Start the inning off.
First strikeout since the 2nd inning, 4th in the game. That will bring Molina to the plate. He's grounded out twice. And Molina will chop that one foul. Jose Molina, veteran catcher. A lot of work behind the plate. Lobaton, the backup, who had the big weekend with the game-winning hits. And Molina's been the starter in both of these games. Here's the 0-1 delivery to him. And foul back again, 0-2 count. Molina now 38 years old and has been around pro ball since 1993. Broke in the Cubs organization. Got some time in with the Cubs in just 1 year. Went to Anaheim, then the Dodgers. Played with the Yankees, Toronto. And then last year with Tampa Bay at 223. 102 games he appeared in. 0-2 delivery, reaching, fouls it back, keeps it at 2 strikes. Here's the 0-2 again. And Molina will take it our way. Didn't dare to take that the pitch before.
Right. Work that outside corner, induce a chase as he's gotten ahead of Molina.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Jammed him. And to Molina's credit, he's fought off a couple of pitches. One out, probably outside, and then that one jamming him. Both of them he couldn't afford to let go by. No, he keeps the at bat alive. Ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, like all good hitters, you fall behind and get 2 strikes on you. You got to do what you can to keep the at bat alive and hope the pitcher makes a mistake.
1-2 delivery off the fist, and another dying quail. They have had a couple of those tonight, and Molina's on. That's a good at bat. He kept it going in a 1-out single here in the 6th inning. Tune in to the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report tomorrow, 5 to 6:30 with Tom, Dave, Mel, and Phil. If you missed today's show, you missed Buck Showalter. He was on live from the ballpark. You can tune in tomorrow at 5 for a look at the series finale versus the Rays. It'll be right here on Massive, 5 to 6:30.
Well, this Tampa Bay offense has really made Miguel work. 100 pitches to this point. His season high at 111. He's averaging 97.1 pitches per start.
Kelly Johnson has singled and grounded out, 1 down. And he takes the pitch away for a ball. Rays in these 2 ball games have kept the pressure on the opposing pitchers of the Orioles. They had 4 runs, 10 hits, and less 7 in the ball game last night. Overshadowed by the Orioles with 3 runs on 15 hits and 15 left on. Again gets the off-speed delivery in, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Now the Orioles have really been swinging it here the past 3 ball games. Talked about the amount of hits they had in last night's game, but 25 in 2 games against the Rockies. But Cobb really neutralizing this potent Orioles offense tonight. Just 2 hits on the board for the O's.
And the big cut will be foul back. Second time, T.J. McFarland, so he'll be coming into the ball game either during this inning or the next inning. As Buck Showalter is adamant about not getting guys up twice and not getting them in a game. 1-ball, 2-strike count on Kelly Johnson. Shift on in the infield against the hitter. 1-2 delivery, and missed with a down low. Including the numbers in this ball game, the Rays now in the season series have outscored the Orioles 80 to 69. Both teams have put on the offensive shoes for this series this year. ERA up for both teams against one another. Inside, the Tampa Bay ERA was 5.04 coming into the game, and the Orioles ERA was 5.79 against Tampa Bay. It's been about the offense.
It sure has. I mean, both offenses really productive against each other, and starting pitching. Tampa Bay known for their arms, with the Orioles been able to get to them, but they're being neutralized right now, and they couldn't come up with a big hit in last night's ball game. Tampa Bay staying pretty consistent.
3-2, runner not going. Ball popped up, and that will be in the seats. No play. With Molina, the runner at first base, not going to chance sending him even on the 3-2 count with 1 away, because if there's a strikeout, he's gone.
Yeah.
Davis playing behind him with a left-handed hitter up there. George Hendrick, first base coach, talking with Molina. Here's the 3-2, and he walked it. So that's the 4th free pass to go along with 4 strikeouts. Puts runners on at first and second with 1 down. And Castro, for the 3rd time, is coming to the mound.
Well, it worked the last inning. Miguel Gonzalez got himself into a little bit of a jam. This little visit from Bill Castro kind of got him to calm down. Talked about the pitches and the execution that needed to happen, but a tougher situation here with Jennings. Much better speed, tougher guy to double up.
As they've done all year, Gonzalez gets extra days rest. They believe he needs to have more rest than the normal 4 days off. So his last start came on the 13th. Here we are in the 20th, so he's had 6 days between starts. The Orioles have tried to do that with him in this rotation. So far tonight, it has been a tough one for him. Every inning but the first has been a struggle. Here is Jennings with a walk and a run scored. 0 for 3 official, 0 for 2 rather, at the plate. And the pitch outside for a ball. And Miguel Gonzalez may be running out of gas.
Yeah, it seems like it. The command isn't right there. His misses are pretty bad right now. Completely out of the zone. Starting to get some non-competitive pitches early in the ball game all around the zone with all of his pitches.
1-0 count. Another big at bat in this game, and that's outside. And the count goes to 2-0. Only one down here. Zobrist waiting on deck. Two-0 count. You get tired. Your velocity's down. You're a little afraid of throwing a strike because it might be too fat, and you know you haven't got any extra zip on it. Here's a 2-0 delivery. Gets that one in there, and that's what he's been doing tonight, and he needs a strike going to the off-speed delivery.
Yeah, he's getting a little too quick on his fastball. Nice call by Matt Wieters. Try to settle him back down. Nice get me over breaking ball to get back into the count here.
Runners off first and second with 1 out. 2-1 delivery. That's there too. Another good pitch. And again, throttling back a bit. Count goes to 2-2.
And Matt Wieters recognizing he has trouble right now commanding his fastball. So a couple good off-speed pitches.
You're a hitter. What do you look for?
I guess you'd look for an off-speed pitch if that's what he's throwing for strikes.
Tough to do, huh? 2-2 count.
Yeah, actually anything. When you get to 2 strikes, you shorten up and look for anything.
Ground ball slapped to short. Played by Hardy. Flaherty won. Relay to first will not be in time. Flaherty got dumped out there and a good slide made by Kelly Johnson. Molina moves over to third base, but a big second out recorded.
A great job by Miguel Gonzalez to work himself back into the count. Executed a great pitch. Almost got the double play, but Buck Showalter now comes out to make the big pitching change.
So Gonzalez, coming out of the ball game, is not going to break his streak of 4 games without a win. Could take the loss here. The hope the Orioles can come back and he ends up non-decision. he certainly has kept the Orioles in, but not where he wanted it to be.
No, but you know what? He battled through this. He made some good pitches. 5 2/3, 8 hits. Probably half of those were broken bats or off the end of the bat. They just made him work. 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 4 walks. That's kind of uncharacteristic for Gonzalez. Got the 4 punch-outs, but got that pitch count way up to 112. And you credit the offense of Tampa Bay, you know, for getting to Miguel Gonzalez, but he kept his team in there, and he gives way to TJ McFarland. This will be his 28th game for the Orioles out of the pen. 4.26 earned run average with 48 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .273, lefties at .266, and the righties at .277. Got the inherited runners, though, 38%. Not the number that he'd like, or Buck Showalter. Want to improve on that.
First and third, 2 down, and a chopper hit by Zobrist. McFarland up the throw, and he's got him. 1 pitch, and he records the out. So no runs on 1 hit, and 2 are left on base.
Gonzalez runs a 2-seamer in on Escobar, but he gets enough of it to pick up an RBI, scoring Joyce. But Ryan Flaherty answers right back in the 2nd inning with an RBI of his own, scoring Matt Wieters. Zobrist with the bullet down the right field line. That scores Jennings all the way from first base. The Rays have the lead 3-1. Flaherty 1 for 2 with the single and RBI. Runners of scoring position tonight. Tampa 4 for 10. The O's just 1 for 2 as Alex Cobb really keeping these Orioles bats at bay. Geico saving people money on more than just car insurance.
And we remind you, for Alex Cobb, it's only his 2nd start since returning from the long span on the DL where he missed 50 games. And in that first start, he made a 5-inning appearance. Before that, he'd only worked 4 1/3 against KC, 4 against Boston. The last time he got anywhere close to where he is now in the game was against Detroit on June 5, when he pitched 7 2/3 innings.
You know what he's doing in this ball game? He's throwing all of his off-speed pitches for strikes. A lot of times, offenses will try to be real patient as Machado grounds to Escobar before the out. Try to be patient with a guy that throws a lot of off-speed pitches, because many times pitchers can't command them as well, but he's had command of all of them tonight.
He went through a stretch in that 3rd and 4th inning where the Orioles started to get some fly balls, which would indicate he was elevating, but he's gone back to the ground balls. 1 away here in the 6th inning, and Chris Davis coming up, hit by a pitch, and he has struck out. Davis now with a hit in 5 at-bats, lifetime against Cobb. And the fastball is in there for a strike. He's been right there, about 92 with the fastball. Not overpowering, but a good one. But along with those off-speed pitches, it's made to look a lot faster. 0-1. Davis with a big uppercut. More dirt than ball on that one, and an 0-2 count.
Yeah, that was a nasty split finger. Threw it at 85 miles an hour, and a good sell with the arm speed to get Chris Davis swinging.
Chris behind on the count, 0-2. Cobb's delivery to him outside for a ball. So Chris leads the majors in homers. He is tied for first in runs in the league, second in slugging, second in RBIs. He's second in doubles now, sixth in on base percentage, and eighth in average. For Chris Davis. 1-2 delivery and another one that'll bounce. And a 2-2. You can stop by the AT&T store on Dobbin Way in Columbia Friday noon to 1 for your chance to meet Chris Davis. He'll be on hand signing autographs. First 200 fans guaranteed to receive an autograph. That's Friday noon to 1, AT&T store, Dobbin Way in Columbia. You can go to OriolesReach.com for details.
Should be a good crowd for that one.
2-2 delivery on the way and keeping it down low but missing, and it's a full count, 3-2.
Good take right there from Chris Davis, making the adjustment as he swung at that same pitch earlier in the bat.
Chris here in August with a .311 average, coming in 7 home runs. 3-2 delivery to him, and he'll foul that one off. Stays full at 3-2. Orioles need base runners against Cobb. Try and get him work out of that stretch. And down by only 2 in a ball game where it's the Rays who've missed chances so far. 3-2 delivery and walking.
Nice eye right there by Chris Davis. Cobb throughout this ball game on the lefties has tried to bring that two-seamer back over the inside corner. Davis sees that one in just a little bit too much. Nice base on ball.
So Davis picks up the walk, and Adam Jones comes to the plate. A single, and he is flied out. Davis back now to picking up more walks here over the last couple of weeks. He's had 54 free passes, among the top 5 in strikeouts, still at 151. Adam Jones, 5-game hit streak. Runner on and 1 out. Jones fouls it back. Big cut on the fastball by Cobb.
Yeah, one of Cobb's better fastballs at 93 miles an hour, and still with the good two-seam action to get it in on Adam Jones.
Orioles have been tough on right-handers all year long. Good numbers against righties. A bit of a struggle against lefties. Jones, 322 off right-handers. 6th best in the American League. Davis, 3rd best. Came inside. Strategies changed. Pitchers for a while, about a month ago, were going to those sliders, breaking balls away, trying to get Adam to chase, which he did a little bit. Started laying off those, so now they've worked him with that pitch away, trying to get the outside corner, come back inside to try for strikes, trying to get him leaning. That one, a good pitch down low, 1-2.
Sure was Cobb rushing a couple fastballs in on Adam Jones. Sets up the good split finger down in the zone. Getting Adam Jones a little antsy. He gears it up and swings over the top of that one.
Adam up there in RBIs with 89. He's 4th in the league starting the day. Also 4th in runs scored behind Davis, Cabrera, and Trout. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Cobb's delivery. Jones fouls it back.
Another good pitch at the bottom of the zone. Probably a ball, just such a tough pitch to lay off of. That one at 87 miles an hour. So it appears it's going to be a fastball, and then the bottom drops out right at the end.
Few managers who didn't sit much last night, and they're not sitting much tonight. 1 ball, 2 strike count with 1 away. And Jones is gone, and he knew it. Started to swing and got tied up in a big strikeout.
A big breaking ball here from Cobb. Gets him as it backs up and stays on that inside corner. Molina wanted it away. You see him holding that glove. The breaking ball hung on. Catch the plate.
So 5 strikeouts for Alex Cobb. Nick Markakis fans, as the Orioles right fielder comes up 0 for 2, lined into a double play. Flied out to left field. 2 down, runner on.
Yeah, a couple good at bats off Cobb. Nothing to show for it. That was a bullet. He hit to Loney, and then he hit one deep to left field.
Think these games aren't important? I hope you saw the bench. If you saw that side shot of Jones on that last pitch on the replay, you saw the bench all signaling a strikeout. The guys over there on the bench, same thing with the Orioles. Players are up on the front, applauding, cheering, calling strikeouts. I mean, everybody knows what's at stake in these ball games. For Tampa Bay, got to keep winning. Boston keeps winning. They're trying to get the division lead. For the Orioles, trying to catch Tampa Bay and the Red Sox, there's very little leeway anymore. There's not enough time to make up games, so you got to win right now. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Davis off first base, and the delivery will be down low to Nick Markakis. 2-1.
Yeah, certainly when August 1st comes around, you're in the playoff hunt. The intensity of every pitch is picked up incredibly. Everybody wants to fight for the postseason.
2-1 delivery on the way, and that's down low, and Cobb falls behind. 3-1. Unhappy with himself on that last pitch. Showalter talking about that today. He said, you know, we know every game's important. The game that was played in April, important as a game now when it comes to wins and losses, but it's just human nature. You got a long stretch in front of you. You just kind of figure you got time to make up, and it's human nature to do that. Then you finally get down here where you see that light at the end of the tunnel, and it's like, whoa. That's hit hard, but right to second. Zobrist has got it, and Markakis is retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. Cobb's in charge. The Rays have the lead.
Working in this ball game. Nice fastball up and away to get the leadoff hitter Jennings. Oh yeah, and then he drops the good split finger to get Loney. But Cobb matching him. Good breaking ball here to get the best power hitter in the game. Chris Davis, and Ryan Flaherty goes down on the breaking ball as well.
26,158 on hand at the ballpark. 26,158, seeing another good ball game that's yet to be decided. As the Orioles, T.J. McFarland on in relief through 1 pitch in the 6th inning to record the final out. Now we'll work to Longoria, Joyce, and Myers. Middle of the order due up for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, Escobar's had an RBI base hit. Zobrist has had an RBI double. And a sac fly by Joyce for their 3 runs. The Orioles an RBI base hit by Flaherty, an unearned run off Cobb. Their only run in the game. And the pitch will be taken away. Longoria single, 1 for 3, now has a 4-game hit streak. 1-0 delivery to him, watching it, and it's away. Longoria hitting .326 off lefties, about 70 points higher than he does against right-handers. 18, though, of his 25 home runs against righties. Waiting for a strike, and he gets one right there, 2-1.
And TJ trying to work that outside corner, finally getting the call out there on a fastball away.
Longoria 0 for 2 off the left-hander, and he gets another one there, and Longoria knew it and jumped away, 2-2.
Yeah, nice breaking ball from TJ McFarland. Now right back into the count.
Two delivery, shift on in the infield, jammed him, popped it up, and he'll be in the seats.
Executing his pitches right now. That's a nice one. Working the outside corner, then drops a breaking ball and rushes a fastball in on the hands of Longoria. Almost beat him. A nice job just to get a piece of it to keep the bat alive.
Here's the 2-2 delivery, and that'll be inside. Yankees won the first game of the doubleheader today against Toronto. 8-4. They were behind 2-0 in the nightcap. They've come back to tie it up 2-2 in the 7th inning. Yankees chasing the Orioles right now. 3-2 delivery, getting to reach for it. Popped it up to center. Jones. And Longoria's retired, one away here in the 7th inning. MLB.com Advance is celebrating 5 years as your #1 mobile app for live baseball. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Orioles baseball with live audio, pitch tracking stats, highlights, and more. Text at Bat 31826 or go to Orioles.com for details. Joyce, couple of walks, sac fly. Good night. Shift on for him, and the pitch is on the inside corner for a strike.
Look at the shift. Ryan Flaherty playing shallow right field, and J.J. Hardy swung over on the second base side, but Manny Machado has to honor that bunt. Joyce has shown bunt 7 times this year when a shift is on, so you see Manny uptight.
Yeah, Joyce is not timid in putting the ball down if he thinks he can get a base hit that way. And a great pitch. McFarland came back inside on him. Gets ahead of the count, a ball and 2 strikes on Matt Joyce. Joyce hitting only $160 off left-handers, 8 for 50. But 2 of the 8 hits home runs. 1-2 delivery to him, grounded into the shift. Davis on the backhand. And McFarland over to cover, 2 down.
Good play right there by Chris Davis. Nice backhand. Waits on TJ McFarland to get over there. No panic at all. Makes that play look nice and routine. You see him get down there. The big stride, and as he takes his eyes down to the baseball to secure it, it makes an easy out.
So 2 down. McFarland trying to retire the side in order. That has not happened since the first inning. Gonzalez 3 runs, 2 earned, 8 hits over 5 2/3 for the Orioles starter. Myers a single, 1 for 3 in the ballgame. And Myers will watch one go by for a ball. Myers hitting .318 off lefties, .305 off right-handers. .346 with runners in scoring position. Not bad.
Pretty good.
Playing in his 52nd game and has got 200 at bats now. 1-1 delivery to him, grounded down to third. Manny Machado's got it. Sophomore retires the rookie, and a 1-2-3 inning for McFarland. 7th inning stretch time, Camden Yards, and a good one. 3-1 Rays. But he also likes baseball. Enjoying the game here tonight.
That's great.
And great to have you with us. Good ball game. So the Orioles pitching has done what it needs to do. Gonzalez would like to have been better, but the Orioles are in the ball game.
Yeah, they sure are. I mean, it's been a great pitching duel. Miguel Gonzalez, not a typical performance by him. The Tampa Bay offense really made him work throughout this ball game. He came up with big pitches when he needed, only to limit these guys to 3 runs. So they are still in this game, but the Orioles offense has got to find a way to try to get to Cobb. His off-speed pitches have been devastating, really keeping them off balance this whole ball game. They're in hopes in this inning. Matt Wieters leading it off. He has great numbers against the Rays.
So you either get to him and find a way to get on base, or you try and get him out of there. See if he can get his pitch count up, but that's really tough to do because Cobb throws a lot of strikes.
It sure does, and he is really pitch efficient in this ball game.
So the fans settle back in, bottom half of the 7th inning. And Wieters coming to the plate. Orioles after another one of those late comeback wins. And Cobb's delivery, a fastball up high. 3 runs, 8 hits for the Rays, 1 run and 2 hits for the Orioles. The Orioles have not had a base hit since the 2nd inning of this ball game. 1-0 delivery, and the off-speed delivery's in there again. Cobb has had 2 walks and 5 strikeouts in the game. Wieters reached on an error, scored in the 2nd, and he is struck out. And that pitch will miss down low. So Matt gets ahead on the count, 2-1. Wieters, Hardy, Flaherty due up in the bottom of the 7th. 2-1 delivery to him, and Wieters will take it and gets ahead in the count, 3-1.
Cobb just not giving in. A split finger and then backs it up with a curveball down at the bottom of the zone.
Now they shift.
In the 3-1 shift. They have shifted in 3 different counts to Matt Wieters in this ball game.
They waited till he had a strike on him. Then they waited till he had 2 strikes on him, and now 3 balls on him in the shift. 3-1 delivery on the way, and it's away, and the Orioles get the leadoff man on. Walk number 3, and a leadoff walk by Cobb, who slams the rosin bag down as Hickey goes to the phone to the bullpen.
Yeah, that's a nice at bat right there by Matt Wieters. The best power hitting shortstop in the game comes to the plate.
There you see Alex Torres in the bullpen. So the Orioles get the potential tying run to the plate. Here's Hardy. Walk, and he's flied out. And the pitch to him, it will be taken for a strike. Up to 85 pitches thrown by Cobb. Wieters virtually standing on the bag at first base. And the inside fastball will miss. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, you had mentioned in his last start, now the first start he came back from the disabled list, he threw 85 pitches, but that was in 5 innings of work. He's at 86 now, pitching into the 7th.
Ground ball pitcher after that double play ground ball right here. 1-1 delivery on the way, and a line shot base hit to center. So Hardy is on with a single, and the Orioles have the first 2 on here in the 7th inning, trailing by 2. When the Orioles win, everyone wins, and all season long when the Orioles win and score 5 or more runs, you get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com by entering promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's, valid at participating Baltimore area Papa John's. Hickey out, pitching coach to have a word with Cobb. The Orioles get their 3rd hit in the first since Flaherty's single in the 2nd inning.
Now you see how efficient he's been. 18 pitches in the 2nd and 18 in the 6th. And now Hickey out there to try to calm him down. Maybe give Torres a couple extra pitches in the bullpen, because he got away with one right there. J.J. Hardy, he hung him a fastball. J.J. pounded it up the middle. He's lucky that one didn't end up in the Orioles bullpen.
Orioles went 16 batters between hits. But because Gonzalez, McFarland have been able to hold the Rays to 3 runs. Orioles now with a potential go-ahead run at the plate. Flaherty singled, RBI, and he is struck out. Orioles 1 for 2 with runners in scoring position. That's how good Cobb's been. There haven't been any chances. 4 for 10 on the other side. And Flaherty will take it up high. 1-0 count. And you get the feeling Cobb's tank may be nearing the E mark. They move the shortstop over, get a full shift on here. And the pitch taken for a ball. 2-0 on Flaherty. Roberts on deck. Delivery. Flaherty will pop it up. Molina, and no play. Even if he'd gotten there and leaned in, he wouldn't have had a chance on it. 2 ball, 1 strike count.
Crowd here at Camden Yards, finally something to come to life about. It's the Orioles offense finally putting some pressure on Cobb here. And Ryan Flaherty got himself into a nice hitter's count, just missing a 2-0 fastball.
Against Cobb this year, with runners in scoring position, opponents are hitting .214. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Longoria cheating in for a bunt. He looked at throw down on the attempted pickoff, and Molina loves to rocket it around. Wieters back to the bag. Well, they had that one guessed right. They were playing bunt, and he showed bunt. Yeah, Longoria was tight on the grass. Flaherty squares around, but the veteran Molina, nice heads up, court awareness, throws behind Matt Wieters. Wieters knows what's going on back there, and he gets in there just in time. Count goes to 3-1. With a shift on. Player very close to second. Wieters has to be careful. 3-1 delivery. No bunt here, and he walked him, and they're loaded. Cobb thought he had one in there, didn't get the call. And the Orioles here in the 7th have loaded him up. And that will be it for Cobb. There's what we were talking about just a minute ago. Either find a way to get some hits off him and or find a way to get him out of the game. He's gone. There, the 25-year-old right-hander with a great start, but he leaves responsible for the 3 runners.
Well, it sure was a nice start. 6+ innings for Cobb. Just the 3 hits, 1 run given up, and that wasn't even earned. 4 walks, though. The Orioles able to put together some great at-bats in that last inning. 2 walks to chase Cobb. 5 strikeouts, just 92 pitches, and he gives way to Alex Torres, the strong arm and left-handers. This will be his 26th appearance out of the pen for the Rays. 1.35 earned run average, 50 strikeouts, just 16 base on balls. Opponents hitting just 119 off Torres. Lefties 157, and righties are down to .057. Inherited runners stranded 79%. He has really been a force coming out of the bullpen for the Rays.
That's the first game this year in the 15 starts for Cobb that he's walked 4. He had 3 starts where he walked 3. So the Orioles getting the best of that department. And now, here we go. Brian Roberts coming up. Bases are loaded. DH tonight. Flied out, grounded out, 0 for his last 7. Brian is 2 for 2 with the bases loaded this year. Wieters, Hardy, and Flaherty are the base runners. Orioles down 3-1. Torres' delivery to him will be outside for a ball. For Brian, the switch hitter this season with some at-bats piling up now. 276 right-handed. 217 left-handed. Check that. 246 right-handed, 278 left. A little better from the other side, but not a big difference. 1-0 delivery, grounded to third base. There's 1. There's 2. And the Orioles will pick up a run. No RBI. Wieters will score. Longoria goes to the bag. Gets the out on Hardy, and then gets Flaherty going into second base.
I think Longoria was thinking 3 here in this situation. That's a bullet hit down to him. He steps on third and wants, if it's a good feed, you got to believe Zobrist is going to try to turn that one over. But a couple outs there really puts an end to a huge rally. But they do score 1 and get a little bit closer.
Could he easily have come home with that to record an out?
Yep.
But would he have been able to get Roberts at first base? That would have been a tougher play, huh?
That would have been tough. It's a risky play. I think he had in his mind triple play.
I agree with you. Yep, I agree. 2 down. Here's McLouth, and he'll foul that one back. Nate's 0 for 3. Runner at first base now, and 2 down. So an unusual double play. The ground ball to third base. There's Brian Roberts. He's at first now. It's a 3-2 ball game. Longoria gunned it down to second, but with Roberts running, trying to get a triple play, they're not going to do that. And the pitch taken for a strike, and the count goes to 0-2 on Nate McLouth. Torres talking to his infielders here because the shift is on, making sure he knows who's covering second, as once again Longoria moves over to the second base side, the third baseman. Roberts off first. Torres with the 0-2. And a swing and a foul ball. Molina banging it into the ground, wishing he could have held on to it for strike 3.
Pretty good pitch with some late movement on the end. And Nate McLouth just gets a piece of it, but Molina unable to hang on to it.
McLouth at 227 off left-handers. Step off, look over to first. Torres with an 0-2 again. And the throw over, and Roberts back to the bag. Roberts representing the potential tying run. 0-2. Clough takes it, and he will miss. And a ball and 2 strikes. Well, the first 2 games of this series have certainly lived up to expectations as far as good baseball and tight games are concerned.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of everything, haven't you? Great pitching, tough situations, big hits.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Roberts has shown no sign to go. Torres looking at him, the delivery, and that's going to miss. So he got ahead, 2 strikes, takes it down to 2-2. McLeod has faced Torres only once, 0 for 1 against the left-hander. Torres has a win this year against the Orioles, working 5 innings total with 5 strikeouts, no runs, no hits. Two-2 delivery. McLeod rips it foul.
Yeah, you got the head out on that one. Nice swing from Nate McLeod. Just took enough off it, though, to keep him out in front and pull it foul.
Wayne Kirby had all the great memories of his life go
yeah.
quickly through his memory bank. That ball was screamed. It wasn't that close, but it's hit that hard. It doesn't have to be.
It still makes you flinch.
2 ball, 2 strike count. And McLeod just again able to get just enough of it. Keep the at-bat going. Tips it foul.
And everybody up on the rails in both dugouts. The intensity of this game mounting.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat. Torres 2-2 delivery, and McLeod takes it, full count. And McLeod's refusing to bite. Now Roberts will run at first base. Loney will stay on the bag to keep that running start as close as he can get it. And the 9th pitch of the at-bat will be coming to Nate McLeod. 3-2 delivery. Got it in there, and that's the inning. So Torres gets the strikeout. The Orioles will get a run on 1 hit and leave 1 on. 1-run game. Chen will be on the mound against Jeremy Hellickson. Our coverage on MASN HD 630 O's Extra presented by Geico. Our game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on MASN. There are the starters for tomorrow.
Yeah, another strong young arm, Jeremy Hellickson for Tampa Bay, going over after weigh-in Chen. Chen 6-6 on the year with a 3.23. Hellickson, though, with the 10 wins on the season.
A real good one being played out here. There is Wei-Yin Chen waiting to make his start tomorrow in this series. But right now a fan cheering on the Orioles. Hellickson the same on the other bench. 3-8-1 for the Rays. The Orioles 2-3-1. 8 have been left on by the Rays, 5 by the O's. McFarland retiring all 4 faced so far. And a foul ball at the plate off Loney. James Loney with a single. Struck out it into a double play. He has a 5-game hit streak going. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Here's the 0-1. Chopper foul as he got around on that one. And a 2-strike count. Loney's had a 3-for-4 lifetime off McFarland. The 0-2 delivery to him and outside. Ball and 2 strikes from TJ.
A nice sweeping slider right there. You get ahead. You can work with some pitches off the plate, try to induce a chase.
Here's the 1-2, and Loney to second. Flaherty. One away in the 8th inning. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Gorgeous sight here at Camden Yards. More fans seeing some really good baseball in these first 2 games. 1 down. Here's Escobar, single, ground out, struck out, 9-game hit streak for the shortstop. And he'll go after the first pitch. Hardy over, ranging, can't come up with it. That one hopped on him. It'll be a base hit for Escobar. 2-for-4 in the ball game. He's on with 1 down. And time to text in your vote for the AT&T player of the game. Alex Cobb, Rays starter, 2 runs, 1 earned, 3 hits over 6. Ryan Flaherty has picked up a walk and a big RBI base hit in the game. And Ben Zobrist on the other side with an RBI double and a single. Text in your vote A, B, or C to 31826. And here is Jose Molina. Molina with a single. 1 for 3 in the game, 2 for 7 in the 2 games. And he goes down to third. Manny Machado, 1, relay to first, double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Orioles will have Machado, Davis, and Jones. Tributes $50 to the Y of Central Maryland's Fit and Fun program. There have been 310 walks for a total of $15,500. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Jamie Wright, who worked in the ballgame last night, comes on to pitch.
Yeah, veteran right-hander. This will be his 51st game, 3.10 earned run average, 48 strikeouts in 52 1/3 innings of work. Opponents hitting 228. Lefties just 204, and the righties at 263.
Interesting that Wright, this is 18 years worth of work with 10 major league teams. He has never been to the postseason. He is, among active players, the player who's gone the longest in major league service without making the playoffs.
Wow.
Little added incentive for the 38-year-old right-hander.
Sure is. And still a very effective pitcher.
Yep.
He's a good sinker baller. He works in the low 90s. And the curveball, which has been his pitch throughout his career, that's his go-to with 2 strikes.
The Orioles want to go to the postseason too. They got to get some runs right here in this one to help the cause. Manny Machado, 0 for 3 in the ball game, will lead it off for the Orioles in the bottom of the 8th inning, trailing by 1. Wright last night with an inning worked, walked 1, and that was it. And Machado will take the first pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Bullpen for the Rays, 9th in ERA. They do give up walks, though, 10th most. Ball in the air to center, Jennings.
A good swing right there by Manny Machado on the curveball, but I'll tell you what, this Orioles offense is certainly not out of it. They are packing a punch offensively this season. 166 home runs. That ranks first. The batting average third at 266. Runners in scoring position, we've talked about that one at 277. That's second in the league. Slugging percentage first. Doubles second with 233. So there's all kinds of offensive force. And they are a good late inning offensive team as well.
1 down. Here's Chris Davis. A walk hit by a pitch, struck out. Wright's delivery to him will be outside for a ball. Davis has a 1 for 4. Lifetime off Wright. Fans move a bit closer to the edge of their seats. Oriole fans hoping. One swing of the bat brings a tie game. Here's the 1-0 delivery, and came inside that time and will miss, and it's 2-0. See the shift on with the deep infielder out there in right field, and Myers, the right fielder, almost in the seats. He's about 2 steps off the warning track in right field. 2-0 count. Davis will foul that one back. 2-1. Two, 1 away. Molina sets up outside. Ball comes in, misses. And a 3-ball, 1 strike count on Chris.
Pitcher's trying to be very careful, obviously, to Chris Davis, mixing up all their pitches, locations, trying to keep him guessing.
See if he gives him a strike here. 3-1 delivery. He did, and that's going to be a base hit. Aren't a lot of free spots out there, but Davis found one. So the Orioles get the potential tying run on here in the 8th inning with 1 away.
There we go. Chris Davis once again beating the shift.
Warm-up action. Wesley Wright, left-hander. The Orioles get just their 4th hit of the ball game. Jones has one of them, a single in the 2nd inning. He has flied out and struck out. Each team's picked up an unearned run in the game. Flaherty an RBI for the Orioles. Escobar, Zobrist, Joyce, RBIs for the Rays. One down. Ground ball towards short. Backing up Escobar. Zobrist going to have to hurry. Relay to first. And they got it. A big double play. Turned here in the 8th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on. We go to the 9th. 3-2. Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Some of the memory makers for the Orioles. Some of the others are on the field right now. As the Orioles try and get back here, they've made it a 3-2 ball game. Of course, Orioles 1-run affairs have not favored them this year. They are 14-22, while a 21-17 record in 1-run games is on the board for the Rays. Adam Jones, that double play ball, that was a good turn. I didn't think they were going to be able to double him up at first base.
Now, really hard to turn Adam Jones up on a double play, and especially the way that ball was hit, a chopper into the hole, but they turned it clean. Zobrist, he talked about his defensive prowess this year, a lightning quick turn with Chris Davis bearing down.
So the top of the 9th inning, McFarland will stay on. He's worked 2 1/3 innings so far, giving up only 1 hit, facing the minimum 7 batters for that double play that he got in the 8th inning. Orioles put the shift on against Kelly Johnson, the DH, number 9 hitter. Single, a walk, and a ground ball out into the shift, and a base hit. So a leadoff single on a diving chance for Flaherty. Kelly Johnson's got 2 hits in the game, 3 hits in the series. Johnson gets hit number 10. 10 hits last night, 10 hits tonight for Tampa Bay. Jennings coming up, a walk and a run scored. A couple of fielder's choice plays and a strikeout.
A foul ball off the eye.
First at bat even. And the throw over. Tim Johnson in the bullpen for the Orioles. He was up for a bit in the last half inning. In case the Orioles got the lead, he would come on to close it out. Even with the bag at third, Manny Machado, just in case. And the throw over. Jennings does a very bad interpretation of scoring around the bunt. Throw over to try and get a hitter to see if he might be bunting and give it away, but that so rarely works anymore. It's almost not worth doing.
Right.
Hitters know what's going on, and he squared around after the ball was already in the glove of Davis at first. And the first pitch to him will be taken up high for a ball.
T.J. McFarland's done a super job since coming in relief of Miguel Gonzalez. And he has the ability to get the good ground balls. Nice two-seamer that he can fade away, and he throws a changeup off that as well with the same type of action.
Jennings 0 for 3 off McFarland lifetime. 1-0 delivery to him. Well, that will miss. And the count goes to 2-0. Obviously, the Orioles can ill afford to surrender anymore here with only 3 outs to work with. But down by only 1. McFarland 2-0. And that one he'll lay in on the outside corner. McFarland has worked as much as 4 1/3 innings this season. Did that against Toronto back in the middle of June. He has not been a 1-inning reliever. He's been one of the long men in the bullpen for the Orioles. 2-ball 1-strike count on Jennings. And that's going to be a base hit into right center field. Can the runner get third? No. Jones up and will hold him. Johnson got a good jump, but Adam Jones got over there to get it. Jennings is on first and second, and nobody out. And coming up to the plate here is Zobrist, our Lexus of Towson drive of the game.
Yeah, Ben Zobrist hit a bullet down the right field line, scoring Jennings all the way from first base. See him hustling in with the slide. Big double for Ben Zobrist.
And our drive of the game brought to you by Lexus of Towson, the Baltimore area's #1 Lexus dealer. Come see why they're #1 at LexusofTowson.com. Rays in these 2 games just will not go away. They've got 11 hits now. They got runners on at first and second. They have stranded 8 in the ball game. Defense being set by Buck Showalter and company. They'll play in at first and third, back at second and short. Zobrist a double, single, RBI, 2 for 4, and a ground ball off the plate. Manny Machado will go to first, get the out. Runners will move up with 1 away.
Yeah, that was a work just as good as a bunt. And chopper off the plate. Manny Machado's only chance at first base to get Zobrist for the first out.
So another big at bat. Tom Seaver, the great Met pitcher, used to say, in the course of a ball game, there may be 4, 5 key moments for a pitcher where the pitcher's saying to himself, this is it. I got to get through this somehow. Sometimes only 3 or 4. Seems like in these 2 games, it's been like every inning for both sides.
Yeah,
I mean, there have been so many base runners on. The pitchers have worked under a lot of pressure in these games. So the intentional pass to Longoria will load the bases for Joyce. The Orioles with 1 out here in the 9th inning. So Longoria will get out with the intentional pass. That's his 9th free pass of the season. Chris Davis got 11 of those. And here's Joyce. Sac fly, RBI, couple of walks, and ground ball out. Joyce hitting only 160 against left-handers. Kelly Johnson a single at third, Jennings a single at first, Longoria the pass at first base. The Jennings down at second. Loaded up, 1 out. And Joyce takes it inside for a ball. Joyce with a 1 for 5 off McFarland. Outfield's got to play normal position. With only 1 down here. And a chopper foul. 1 ball, 1 strike count from McFarland.
TJ getting some good movement on his pitches. Saw Zobrist top 1 for the first out, and Joyce trouble squaring it up too. This nice late movement, his two-seamer, dropping a little bit at the end.
1-1 delivery down to third. It's over the bag and a fair ball. It'll bring home Johnson. It will bring home Jennings. Markakis going to the corner. Longoria stops at third, and a 2 RBI double for Matt Joyce. And it is a 5-2 lead for the Rays. Looked like it went right over the bag.
Yeah, Joyce gets to this pitch, pulls the hands in tight, and it does. It hangs on and stays fair. Joe West with the call, and you see Jennings just cruising in. Buck Showalter now out.
Oof, what a big hit for the Rays. Delivered by Joyce. Jim Johnson will be coming out of the pen to face Myers here in the 9th inning. To be shut down right here.
Yeah, and they're calling on Jim Johnson to do it. 59th appearance here for the Orioles, 3.62 earned run average. He does have 39 saves on the season. This is certainly not a save situation. It's a situation where he needs to get off the field and get this Orioles offense going. Opponents hitting .271 off Jim Johnson. 78% of inherited runners stranded.
Tampa Bay 5 for 12 with runners in scoring position. They've got 2 more out there. And here is Will Myers. The Orioles will play the infield in. Try and get that out at the plate. Longoria is the lead runner. Joyce on at second base with a 2 RBI double. It's 5 runs on 12 hits in the game. And a check swing. Did he go? They check it first. No. 1-1. Boy, McFarland out has been treated roughly by the Rays this year. In 4 games, 10 innings, he's given up 5 runs on 14 hits to the Tampa Bay Rays this season.
Yeah, he was pitching really well, but that second time through ended up catching up with him.
1 ball, 1 strike delivery by Johnson. That'll be inside. 2-1. Kelly Johnson a leadoff single. Jennings a single. Ground ball moved the runners up. Intentional pass to Longoria, and Joyce made the Orioles pay with the 2 RBI double right down the first base line. 2 ball, 1 strike count. And a bender tied him up. It's in there. 2-2.
Jim Johnson going to some secondary pitches here. Nice curveball. Mixed in a changeup as well on this at bat.
Myers steps out. Rookie in the infield, backs up a little bit. 2-2 delivered and misses outside. So a full count, 3-2 on Myers. Base hit. Be a couple more runs. Longoria and Joyce out there. And only 1 down. 3-2 delivered. And he will foul it off and keep the at-bat alive. Myers coming into this game 2 for his last 16. He's picked up the base hit for the 1 for 4 in this one. The rookie's been quieted down a little bit at the plate. 3-2 delivery again, and Myers gets a broken bat base hit. That will score 1. Longoria. Joyce is coming. Here's the throw to the plate, off the mark to score. And that has been the story of Tampa Bay's night. Give them credit. They've had at least 3 dying quails, 3 infield base hits, and they've taken advantage of those, and they've got a 7-2 lead.
They really have. Nice at bat by the youngster Myers. This 2-seam fastball. Matt Wieters setting up outside. It runs back over a little bit, and it breaks the bat, but it finds itself right out in front of Nick Markakis. And Joyce hustling in behind Longoria. Boy, that's a big tack-on run there.
So the rookie on with 2 more RBIs and a 2-hit ball game and a big top of the 9th inning. All 4 runs on 4 hits charged to McFarland over 2 2/3 innings work. And now James Loney to the plate. Loney with a base hit, 1 for 4. 13 hits, 7 runs, 13 hits for the Rays. And the pitch will be outside for a ball. For Will Myers, continues that amazing output. That's 39 RBIs that he's picked up in 52 games. Productive rookie start for the right fielder. .1-0 delivery by Johnson, and that's in there for a strike to Loney. So right back up in the bullpen, Wesley Wright. Not a save situation, obviously, going to the bottom of the 9th inning. So Fernando Rodney had thrown a little bit in the bullpen, sitting down. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and it'll miss down low, and a 2-1 count. Jim Johnson this season, this is game number 7 he's appeared in. He's had a loss and 4 saves against the Rays this year. Coming in, they picked up 5 runs on 7 hits against him. Foul back, and Loney holds the count at 2-2.
Jim Johnson going to more off-speed pitches now, trying to mix it up with hitters. But that was a nice 2-seam fastball, good velocity. You like to see when he has that nice movement down in the zone, can induce a lot of ground balls.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And had to reach, cues that one off the end of the bat foul. And we'll hold the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two-two delivery on the way, ground ball, and another base hit off the end of the bat. Jones will hold the runner at second base, and Loney's on with a single. So a 2-hit ball game for Loney. What a 9th inning.
Yeah, good pitch by Jim Johnson. Just a better job by Loney to try to get a good part of the bat on it, and found a hole up the middle.
5 hits in the 9th inning off McFarland and Johnson. 14 in the game. Escobar already with 2 hits, 2 for 4 and an RBI, and a 9-game hit streak. Stands in with 1 away, and the bender, he leaned away, and it's a strike.
Escobar not liking the breaking ball in this ball game. That's the 3rd time he's been buckled.
That'll guarantee you see more of them. Johnson's delivery, and that will be outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Myers and Loney on. Here's the 1-1 delivery. That's going to be a base hit into left field. Stumbling start for Myers, so they'll hold him up at third base. and the bases are loaded as Escobar picks up the base hit. That's 3 hits in a row off Jim Johnson.
He stayed on that breaking ball and just hammered it through the 5-6 hole. But Showalter on the phone to the pen. And Johnson having a hard time getting it out here.
And that'll bring Castro back out to the mound to talk to Johnson while the pen goes to work. Well, the Yankees have won both ends of their doubleheader. They trailed 2-0 in the second game. They won it 3-2. They won the opener against Toronto 8-4. Jason Nix had the walk-off. 2 for 4 night for Nix and 2 RBIs. As the Yankees got a pretty good start from Burley, 6 2/3 innings, couple of runs on 6 hits. He and Hughes battled. Hughes gave up just 2 runs, 7 hits over 6. But the bullpen of the Yankees able to put it away, and the Yankees win 2 from Toronto. They are now 8-0 against the Jays at Yankee Stadium this year. And you wonder the impact, and Buck Showalter is going to be asked after the game. This was not a safe situation with Jim Johnson, but coming on, it matters. Comes on, gives up 3 consecutive hits here. Is that going to affect the ongoing question about him being the closer? Pitch is outside to Molina. This is the 9th Ray to hit in the inning. Molina's had a base hit, 1 for 4. 1 down, bases are loaded, infield at double play depth. And that's outside the third, foul, 1-1.
Now, Buck Showalter certainly wasn't asking for a save. He was just asking to try to help get the team off the field and give the Orioles offense another opportunity. Some big tack on runs, a 4 spot here in the 9th by the Tampa Bay offense.
That'll go to third base. Manny Machado got a long time to get it over to first, and he does, and they get the double play. But it is a 4-run 9th inning, so we go to the bottom of the 9th with the Rays on top, 7-2. The bottom half of the 9th inning, and let's take a look at our AT&T voting for the player of the game so far. Ryan Flaherty on top. Still time to text in your vote, A, B, or C, to 31826. Results on the O's Extra post-game show with Jim and Rick. So Wesley Wright will replace Jamie Wright here in the 9th inning.
Yeah, Wesley Wright was picked up off of waivers from Houston back on August 12th. It is 57th appearance coming out of the bullpen. 3.74 earned run average with 42 strikeouts and 16 base on balls. 43 1/3 innings of work. Opponents hitting 278. Lefties up to 314 and righties at 241.
So the Orioles with only 3 to work with and down by a score of 7-2. Rays are trying to make it 3 wins in a row. 6 out of their last 7 and 8 out of their last 11 against the Orioles, including 5 in a row here in Baltimore.
Wow.
Nick Markakis will lead it off. He's 0 for 3 in the ballgame, 1 for 7 in the series. Wieters and Hardy are due up. And the pitch is outside for the ball from the left-hander. Bullpen tonight, Torres 2/3 of an inning, 1 strikeout. Wright an inning, 1 hit. Now Wesley Wright on the mound. And that pitch is taken for a strike by Markakis. Nick waiting for the Orioles needing base runners here. So Tampa Bay tonight has kept their offense going. We said they were averaging almost 6 runs a ball game against the Orioles this year. They've put a 7 spot up in this one. And a 15-hit attack. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Joe Maddon's ball club looking to go 72 and 52. 1-2 delivery. That's going to be inside. And with the Yankees winning 2 today, they have now won 66 games, 1 fewer in the win column than the Orioles. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Third base, Longoria, no room. Red Sox playing again on the West Coast against the Giants. Listening to the ball game last night sounded very much like the Giants are done.
Yeah, they were first pitch swinging like they wanted to just get out of there.
Yep, didn't sound like a lot of effort going in. A very disappointing season. Red Sox had a 5-0 lead midway through and then went on to win it 7-0. They've got an early 1-0 lead tonight. 2 ball, 2 strike delivery. That'll just miss outside. So the count full on Markakis, 3-2. Oriole bench hoping for a minor miracle here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Markakis in the air to left field towards the seats, foul. Chen goes tomorrow. What may be a win necessary to avoid a sweep.
That's going to be an important ball game. Of course, they're all important right now. They really have to salvage something if the Orioles can't come back and get this game. I'm calling on Wei-In Chen to kind of right the ship and really try to get things back on track, because there are no easy games left in the season.
Three-two pitch, and the Orioles get a walk.
Nice at bat right there by Nick Markakis. Actually 4 good at bats tonight. Hit the ball hard every time up at the plate. Nice job drawing the walk there.
So the Orioles get the leadoff man on, and that will bring up Matt Wieters. Matt has scored twice tonight, once reaching on an error, once on a walk. Orioles with just 4 hits in the ball game. Curving foul. Strike 1. Orioles have not had an extra base hit in the ball game. 4 singles. Cobb, the pitcher of record, could be 8-2. Gonzalez for the Orioles could be 8-6. And the pitch will miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Struggling with the strike zone. Should drive a manager and a pitching coach crazy. Got a 5-run lead, bottom of the 9th inning, and you're pitching behind hitters.
That's right. And on the other side of it, don't want to give up any at-bats. You just never know what can happen in this game.
2-1 delivery, whacked in the air left field. It's deep, back near the wall. And goodbye, home run. There's 2 of them. Matt Waiters continues to be a major nemesis to the Rays. 19 home runs, 61 RBIs on the year, and the Orioles cut that lead by 2.
And Matt Wieters has had some impressive swings from the right side here in the past few days. And he got on a fastball. Nice job of working the count in his favor. Take a look at the swing here. His fastball stays middle, and he does not miss it. That is a beautiful swing from Matt Wieters. It's a line drive home run out over the head of Joyce.
So the Orioles make it a 7-4 ball game. As Wieters, a home run in the ball game last night, a home run in this one. Hardy at the plate, and the pitch misses. It is now a save situation for Tampa Bay, and they're going to hustle out Hickey to the mound to give their closer a chance to warm up, as Wesley Wright not getting anything done here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
There's Rodney, the closer, just getting warm out in the bullpen. As Hickey comes running out. The wheels can fall off in a hurry. This Orioles offense starts getting back on track, and Matt Wieters with a huge 2-run shot. Get the crowd energized here and some fire back into the offense.
Wright was picked up off waivers from Houston on August 12 to give them another left-hander. But in trouble here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Hardy with a walk, single, and a fly ball out, and he'll take the pitch for a strike 2-1. Casillas come out to pinch hit for Flaherty. 2-1 delivery. Hardy inside, all over the place with his pitches, and it goes to 3-1.
And there he is. The Orioles hitter's been really patient. Started off with Nick Markakis, then he fell behind Matt Wieters for the big home run.
3-1 delivery, and he walks in. 3 batters up, 3 on, and 2 in. And that will be it for this Wright. He will leave, having pitched no part of an inning. Surrendered 1 hit, 2 walks so far, 2 runs. And Rodney is going to have to come on and try and pick up the save. He worked in the ball game for his 28th save last night.
29th save. This will be his 54th appearance. 67 strikeouts in 50 2/3 innings. Opponents hitting .231 off Rodney. Lefties .248 and the righties at .211. Which Fernando Rodney, the strong fastball, he can get up in the high 90s, touching 99, 98 at times, but he has a devastating changeup. He throws down in the low 80s.
So Rodney, after the save, trying to make it 2 in a row against the Orioles this season. He's got a 1-0 record and 3 saves. He's worked 5 innings, given up 1 run on 2 hits with 4 strikeouts. Lifetime .32 mark, 14 saves for Rodney against the Orioles. But it's always interesting, as we said last night. Rodney can create his own special kind of excitement.
He sure can.
There is Wieters, the home run, 2 RBIs here in the 9th inning. Matt Wieters now has 5 home runs against Tampa Bay on the year and 14 RBIs against them in this, the 14th game. Runner on at first, nobody out, bottom of the 9th. Flaherty stays in with the right-hander coming on to pitch. Flaherty will take it, and it is in there for a strike. Orioles after a monumental comeback here in this bottom of the 9th. Came in trailing by 5. They now trail by 3. On at first base, Hardy, who drew the walk.
And they've had some great at-bats, too, not giving anything away.
Rodney gets the first 2 strikes on Flaherty. Flaherty with a 1-for-1 off Rodney. 7, 15, and 1 for the Rays. 4, 5, and 1 for the Orioles. And came right back in with another one, and that one's fouled off. Again, arms, legs, big motion, and an 84-mile-an-hour pitch.
That's right. I mean, great arm speed, and really sells it well. Nice job by Ryan Flaherty just to get a piece of it.
Oh-2 count, shift on in the infield. Flaherty goes the other way, left center field. JOYCE, pretty good run, gets it in a hurry. Hardy will go back. There's the first out of the 9th. JOYCE was actually playing over towards the line against Flaherty.
Yeah, he was. He had to run a long way for that ball. Ryan Flaherty hit it well in the left center gap.
That'll bring up Brian Roberts. Roberts 3 for 7 off Rodney. 0 for 3 in the ball game tonight. 0 for 8 in the 2 games. Ryan DHing in this one. Top of the order. McLouth waiting on deck. He'll take a walk here if Rodney will give it. .28 saves, 35 chances for Rodney. Fastball inside. 2-0.
Since the All-Star break, Rodney's made 12 appearances. He had 7 base on balls and given up 15 hits, so you can get to him a little bit.
2-0 delivery. Roberts taking all the way. It's in there for a strike. Orioles trying to get the potential tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Orioles have won 3 games this year where they have trailed after 8. They are 3-43 in ball games trailing after 8. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Roberts got one to go after on the fastball. 2-2.
96 with some pretty good movement down in the zone.
Two count, runner off first base. Brian, you could see the hesitation. He almost let it go by and then decided can't take the chance.
That's right. Tough pitch right there. 84 miles an hour after a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. He stayed with it. Good job of fighting it off. Anything close, you got to protect.
He doesn't even have time to think what I just said. He's got to be instinct. Right? 2 ball, 2 strike count. Rodney's delivery to him. Towering pop up first base. Loney in fair territory. 2 down. Nate McLouth at the top of the order. He's got to get on to keep it going. McLouth with the 0 for 2 against Rodney. He's had an 0 for 4 in the ball game. Nate trying to get out of an 0 for 16 at the moment. Hardy on at first base, and a strike on McLouth. Cobb will get the win if the score stays as it is, be 8-2. Gonzalez the loser, he'll be 8-6. Save number 29 if Rodney can get it. 0-1 delivery on the way, and the off-speed pitch swung on out in front of it, and an 0-2 count. Here's the 0-2 delivery, and McLouth goes down swinging, and that is the ball game. And the Rays have taken the first 2 as they win this one by a score of 7-4. The Orioles pick up a couple of runs on the home run by Wieters, but too little, too late. And there is your final with a 15-hit attack by the Rays. Join us again for the finale when Wei-Yin Chen takes the mound against Jeremy Hellickson tomorrow, Game 3. The Orioles will need it to avoid a sweep. Coverage 6:30, Masson HDO's Extra, presented by Geico. Our game action at 7. This has been a Masson presentation. Jim and Rico's Extra, presented by PNC, is coming up right now. For Mike Mordick and all of our crew here at Camden Yards, I'm Gary Thorne. We'll see you tomorrow night, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Adieu.